Hey, True Believers England teen here. So I've been suffering a little insomnia recently. I just can't get to sleep. And I put on this video, and in the first 5 or 10 minutes, I said, you know what? I think if I'm going to do this, I might as well invite people to watch and listen in. This is a surprise freaking live stream at 8 o'clock in the morning. Excuse me. I don't think a lot of people are going to be up for it, but you know what? Let's go to it. This is Tristan from Nerdette Newstand and some guy named Organized Chaos. I didn't know who that was. And then when it started up, I realized, oh, okay. Hey, Shane Nation, or Shane Nolan, excuse me. When it started up, I realized they're part of that Fandom Menace, or not Fandom Menace, but what do they call themselves? Fandom Initiative. And they call themselves, like one guy's got a site called Actual Fandom. And that's, I think, where they first gathered and everything. Not 100%, but I did do a, what do you call it? An EFAP, every frame pause on their video. They got everything wrong. They actually mentioned, they mentioned me, not mentioned, but shown the social blades of my channel on this thing, and they were wrong about that. So I heard Nerdette did a good job. I want to check it out because I'm interested. Nerdette's a friend of mine. We disagree on a lot. So I figured, what the hell, let's go through this and see where we agree, where we disagree, and how screwed up this guy is. Because right away, they call themselves Actual Fandom. And anybody who disagrees with them, they call, am I a millionaire like Nerdette? No. Even on the social blade, it said I made $18,000 in a year. I think there was 1 year where I did that. I had one good year. I got shadow banned and boom. But they call themselves Actual Fandom, and anybody who disagrees with them, they say they're anti-fans. Yet we're the ones who are gatekeeping and such. Okay. She apparently has some technical difficulties here. Tell me if you guys can't hear.
Into it, I got overlays, did it all the fancy,
so I can make adjustments.
And
here we go.
Unfortunately, then my computer decided it's a fucking potato.
Her problems here. Let me fast forward to the actual discussion.
Doing a bit of gatekeeping by saying
okay,
that
there we go. All right, we'll start right here.
I would hope you're fucking with me. I think I'm good.
Oh, okay, there you go. First F-bomb of the night. I try to keep the F-bombs down.
I'm not a fan of gatekeeping, and that's a big deal. And I know you're totally okay with that. And if that's okay, if that's your stance,
to a what? It depends what the gatekeeping's over.
Okay, so she asks him, "Are you okay with gatekeeping?" And he says, "Well, I guess it matters what it's over," which I think is disingenuous. It's like when you're talking to somebody, especially a black person, and you're like, it's like, "Are Ford's better?" and or Porsche's better, and you go, you people in your freaking Fords, and you hear, "What do you mean, you people?" It's like, that's the most disingenuous. I'm not actually freaking offended by anything bullshit I've ever heard. He knows what gatekeeping she's talking about because they're talking about comic books and the comic book community.
So if somebody didn't like Spider-Man, didn't like that Miles Morales was Spider-Man, which I think he is. I like Miles.
Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man. He isn't. Everybody calls him Miles Morales. Look it up on Google. The worst thing about the whole Miles Morales thing is they never gave him his own identity. I think that's one of the reasons why that idiotic miniseries they had out where Miles Morales was Thor and Wolverine, by Odin's Fade, never happened, but still great. I think that's why it fit Miles Morales so well, is because he truly has no identity of his own.
Would you be okay with that?
Well, just not liking Miles Morales Spider-Man, I wouldn't have any issue with that.
As Spider-Man.
Yeah, as Spider-Man. Yeah, what do you mean as Spider-Man? Like saying he's not Spider-Man?
Like saying he deserves his own
hey, Nerdette.
mantle, and it's not necessary for him to be Spider-Man.
Well, you see, by taking that position, the person who would be taking that position is actually doing a bit of gatekeeping by saying that Miles somehow isn't worthy. Or
okay, I don't know what you're about to say here, but I would ask why and how it's gatekeeping to say that Miles Morales. I don't. Here's my guess. He has an idea of why somebody like myself would say Miles Morales is not Spider-Man. And he would go, oh, because they don't like black people and he's racist and blah, blah, blah. And I hate, you know, I hate the fact that they made a black guy a white. I have gone off many times, not just on Miles Morales, but on Ironheart. Get her out of Iron Man's book, put her into her own book. I was called a racist for that. Don't make the Falcon Captain America. Pump up the Falcon because he is the first African-American Marvel hero. He was the first protector of Harlem. Do you know what happened when slaves were freed? A lot of them took their slave's name, owner's name. A lot of them took presidents' names also, by the way, or their jobs. And that's why you have a lot of black people named Jefferson and Washington and so forth like that. But there are reasons beyond, well, he hates black people. That's why he doesn't like the Falcon being Captain America. No, it's because the Falcon should have pride in his own identity.
Or somehow doesn't count as Spider-Man?
No. How is that? That's not gatekeeping. They're not keeping you off a platform. They're not doing anything besides giving their opinion.
Yes.
Right?
By the way, great
giving
freaking
their
point.
Opinion that Miles isn't Spider-Man, even though he absolutely is.
And before we really get going, let me explain a few things here. I am a friend of Nerdette Newstand. I consider her a friend of mine. We disagree a lot. But one of the great things about it is that if I go on her channel, we have very respectable conversations. We might not always agree. She's on the left. I'm on the right. I'm usually right. She understands this. By the way, even my wife slaps me down for that. But I would actually hazard a guess here that I will disagree with a lot of what both of you guys are saying. That being said, Nerdette, so far, I like the fact that you're pushing your questions. You're pushing your point. Robert Willing is saying, hey, England team, you know these guys use Social Blade to claim how much YouTube channels make. And according to Social Blade, you make thousands of dollars a month. Was that 17,000 1 month? No. The most I ever made in 1 month was, I think, around $1,900. It was when I did the Nubia video, not the Nubia video, but actually I did the Captain Marvel, how racist Marvel was racist in their treatment of Monica Rambeau. And then right after I did the comic book origins of Nubia, what I think happened is by doing the Monica Rambeau video, I drew in a larger black audience who then kind of shifted over to the Nubia stuff. And as soon as I mentioned I was a Trump supporter, some of them were like, you're a racist, and ran. I'm like, wait a second. You guys were like, oh, he's telling the truth. But yeah, it was kind of funny. But yeah, that's the most I ever made in 1 month. It was about 1,900 off of those. Agree, Miles Morales does need his own identity because Peter Parker will always be Spider-Man. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, let's continue here. This is a 2 hour and 25.
Absolutely is. I agree. But that is
bit.
Somebody's individual opinion, right?
I mean, that opinion at best would be misinformation. I mean, it all depends on the person, and you'd have to analyze.
How is it misinformation?
Right.
Now, okay,
for sure.
You know what? All right, I'm going to defend him a little bit on this one. Me saying Miles Morales is not Spider-Man is misinformation. Marvel calls him Spider-Man. They put him in a book called Spider-Man. Okay, fine. But even the writers, when you're referring to Miles Morales, when the writers are referring to Miles Morales, when anybody in comicdom refers to Miles Morales, they say Miles Morales because that's how you don't say Peter Parker. When you're talking about Spider-Man, you say Spider-Man. But when you're talking about Miles Morales, Spider-Man, you say Miles Morales. But officially, because Marvel calls him Spider-Man, yes, I guess you could call it misinformation.
saying, like, they're like the whole thing was you guys are ambassadors of fandom. When you don't talk about the properties, you only talk about the YouTubers. I understand you want to in the future, but you're not currently. You're not really making that content.
Well, if you caught the last initiative stream, we actually did a Star Wars ranking. And then I know Dane just did a stream where we just talked about a whole bunch of stuff that we love. We talked about Expanse. We talked about Big Lebowski. We do. And we also cover these guys.
Right.
Yeah, it actually is kind of tough. I'll tell you why he's doing this. I'm probably skipping ahead, but I'll tell you why he's doing this, because they did a whole bunch of things about. I'm guessing they did a whole bunch of things about. Oh, this book is great. This book is fine. Oh my, you got to check this one out, and the views were like 150, 200. And then they said, hey, isn't Gary Nerdrotic kind of nutso, and he's wrong all the time, and doesn't Ryan Kennel hate women, and blah, 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 yada, yada. Thousands of views. So they chased it, and it became a thing. I'll bet you that's what happened.
Right. And to be fair, that's kind of what I've always done on my channel for a long time. But I think there's a difference in the fact that I cover the properties as compared to just the YouTubers. And I think that's where I have the issue, because you guys have an issue, right, with people making a bunch of videos about Brie Larson or She-Hulk, right?
Okay, so what you just said, like, when I was talking about us doing a Star Wars ranking, or us like talking about Big Lebowski and stuff like that was not through the context of our YouTuber. That was just us literally just talking about that stuff.
Right, but your main video,
you didn't allude to the fact that he was trying to talk about somebody else's opinion.
That you clip are not ever like.
Well, I mean, I do lots of reaction videos, which is kind of the format I've gone to for.
Shane saying, "Come on, man, we all hate women." Just kidding.
Right.
The fact that that's
your main content. So like you're talking about,
she would tell
like
you
10% of your content is probably actual fandom related.
Well, it kind of depends. If you want to go into the podcast, I'm sure it's a lot more.
Right, but you don't put it on your main channel. Your podcast only has like 150 subscribers as compared to
that's true,
a pretty decent sized channel of 25,000.
Wait, how many subscribers?
True, if people want to go sign up, I mean, I'm all for it.
By the way, if you're not subscribed to this channel,
but what I'm saying is the fandoms that you are supposedly ambassadors of right now, and trying to make an open fandom about, you rarely talk about. That's the point.
So you've got a point here.
I guess
they're called actual fandom. They're pointing themselves out to be, hey, we're the ones you should be listening to,
talk about
not
these guys. So
these other guys, or me.
I guess the question is, like, are you looking for a certain ratio? What are you?
No. I'm having a conversation with you. I'm asking you. I'm asking you because when I went through your content, and I went through a lot of it in pretty.
Okay, I've got to say something, and I've been praising Tristan a lot, but I've also been on the side of on the opposite side of her questioning, or where he is right now. Tristan can hammer. She can hammer some questions in. Sometimes I think she's very fair, and sometimes I think it's okay, but sometimes she'll hear an answer and she'll go, "That's it." But no, yeah, that's all there needs to be. But I've been on this where she's done that, and the first time she did this to me, I kind of was like, "Oh, well, okay, I guess I got to say more." No, the second time, and from here on in, it'll be like, "Yeah," and that's all you really need, and I'll back it up. But that is something I do notice that Tristan does.
Detailed stuff, not only yours but the Fandom Initiative. I would say at least 90% of it is covering other YouTube. But one thing I did notice is you guys kind of laughing or sulking at the fact that they make all these videos about Brie Larson, but that's exactly what you do for Rags or for Nerdrotic or Critical Drinker. You've made your content based around that and then make fun of them for doing the same thing. And it's highly hypocritical.
Wait a minute. When we're talking about like
ooh,
people
total
like Nerdette
views
or
are
Critical
666
Drinker, we're
right
talking
now,
about
Nerdette.
people who are using their platform to spread misinformation as opposed to
Okay, hold on here. This is the second time he's brought up. Well, they're using their platform to spread misinformation. Who? Saying Miles Morales, only very technically saying Miles Morales isn't Spider-Man could be considered misinformation. But if you go culturally, it isn't. Sorry, dude. It just isn't. But this is one of those things. I'm once again, you know the end of this story there, Nerdette. But once again, it seems like he's okay. We're the right ones, and if you're disagreeing, you're spreading misinformation, and it's freaking ridiculous. It's like, and it's a bunch of half truths. I watched their video. I did look on this channel. There is every frame a sec. What is it? A pause where I go through their video, break it down, and I got to tell you, they start off in the wrong position, meaning they are lying to their audience. They're either willfully ignorant, they're actively stupid, or they're lying to their audience. All right, I'm sorry. Let's get going again.
An actress.
Right. That doesn't change the fact that you make fun of somebody for making videos about Brie Larson, somebody who they don't like, and I'm not a fan of.
I see what you're getting at here, Nerdette.
Nerdrotic or those type of people. But
you're
you do the exact same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Like the exact same thing.
Nerdrotic and all of
they don't like what she says, so they make videos about her. You don't like what they say, so you make videos about them. You don't see how that's a little bit hypocritical?
Well,
you'll hear misinformation
like,
if FSN
I have a question.
quite a bit. What's FSN FOM?
One of the big things we do is essentially call out misinformation and bigotry.
Most of your videos that I watched in the past.
This is okay. First of all, I don't know what you're gonna do, Nerdette. His attitude, their attitude towards Gary, towards the what do they call themselves, the fandom menace or whatever they call themselves. Their attitude towards them is bigotry, because immediately they assume it's bigoted. Their opinions are their opinions because they are bigots. That in itself is a form of bigotry. Granted, a lot of people now use bigoted as another form of racist. The original was to look down upon somebody's beliefs and their belief system. That's how I use it. And look, I get it. If somebody believes different races inferior just based on, you look down upon that one. But this is, they believe cause and effect. You know, you don't like Riri Williams because she's black. Not that she's been written poorly ever since she's been created. Let's continue.
3 days are all opinion based.
Hey, Captain Frugal, what's up?
I understand calling out bigotry, but again, that's opinion based too. So you're not calling, if you're calling out misinformation, like I did a video recently where the Quartering said that Mark Hamill had a Nazi flag behind him, and it in fact was not. That is true misinformation. What you're calling out is your opinion.
Can you give me I mean, there will be opinions, but can you give me an example? Like, what are you talking about?
I think.
Well, we can take a look at your channel. That's not a problem.
I don't know who this guy is, so I can't speak on.
We can take a look and look at how opinion-based they are.
I know
when you say you're calling out misinformation and bigotry.
He's a jackass.
It actually and I have no problem. I want everybody to have.
Okay, when I was doing the other video, I made a point, and this is a point I've been making for 7 years. Argue the point, not the person. You don't go up, well, you're a dumbass. Unless, look, I want to call this guy a dumbass. You know, you want to sometimes, but I think you kind of lose ground when you do that. Always argue the point. If you're like, well, they said that because they're stupid, you're not helping your argument. But if you say, well, obviously you get this and that wrong, so and it sounds like you're coming from this area, but that's wrong because it started off. You argue the point, not the person. That's all I'm trying to say here. Okay, let me go.
Their opinion. But just like I want you to have your opinion, those people are allowed to have theirs too. Do you not see
All
the
right,
issue with that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you see the issue with them? Okay, so listen, I don't object to them. Like, if these are their honest opinions, I don't object to them saying them. I don't. I do.
My live stream is going to be 150 minutes, 100,000 minutes long if it's he continues this way. He is saying if it is their opinion. Look, I understand. I've seen some people jump on and they get the views. They have to chase the views. You got to feed that beast. If you do a negative channel, you have to feed that beast constantly, just constantly. And I could see if you're doing it disingenuously, but this guy is in their ilk. I have seen the other channel, at least one of them. They are doing it. They're assuming stuff. They're saying, well, they're doing it because of this. Now, if they had a talk, if they sat down and spoke with the Fandom Menace, then okay, fine, you know. But just making a video and assuming what's going through someone's head, once again, bigot.
Who have suspicions on whether
What's
or not
up,
they
Tev?
are actually their honest opinions at the end of the day.
Okay, but we don't get to make that moral decision, do we?
Pro
Sure, we can call them Gurkers. Absolutely.
This looks almost
but we don't get to make that decision. Drinker is a
thumbnail.
talentless hack. That is a opinion. I've even heard Turf Nation say that he has talent when it comes to reviews.
Yeah, I actually came across something where I'm not so sure about that. But anyways, yeah, so
my thoughts about Critical Drinker are very much the same. Sometimes he's okay, sometimes he's way the freaking hell off, and sometimes you can hear his reviews and absolutely tell he never saw the movie.
If you want to say like that's an opinion, sure, I'll give that to you. But essentially, that whole video was just about him complaining about how Bo-Katan's taking over Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy's destroying the franchise.
So that.
Okay, now I heard Bo-Katan takes over at the end. I'm not there yet. I'm like on episode 4 of The Mandalorian. I'm just not as driven to finish the season. But I did hear that Bo-Katan takes over. And Kathleen Kennedy, by the freaking numbers, you moron. Oh, I did it. See, you don't want to call them names. And there I went. Actually, you see, but that's it. Like I said, he's either being willfully stupid, he's absolutely ignorant, or he's lying to not say that Star Wars has taken a hit.
That's his opinion, correct?
And by the way, saying that it hasn't,
yeah, but
that is in fact misinformation.
Don't you see there's like when you have this well, let me ask you this. What's your thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy?
Brilliant.
I don't care about Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars person. But I did watch the videos because I wanted to kind of get a feel for how you interacted with people.
Is a great filmmaker.
You can see I watched a bunch.
As soon as the woke and the ESG stuff
So, I mean, Kathleen Kennedy is without doubt one of the most accomplished producers in history.
For sure. Yes. She's done a lot of great stuff.
You could argue these. Yeah, for sure. But yet these guys are talking about her like she's the end of Star Wars. Oh, uniformly.
She so far has been.
And they're essentially talking about her like she's a diversity hire and special hire.
Hold on. Okay, I need to see receipts. You guys, I know a lot of you guys watch the Fandom Menace videos. I don't. But by all means, if you have heard them say Kathleen Kennedy is a diversity hire, I would love to find that out because I've never heard anyone say that.
Description of her quite a bit.
Okay.
So they think Kathleen Kennedy runs Star Wars essentially into the ground. You disagree, and that was your whole premise. Again, these are opinions. You said you're correcting misinformation.
I love comics,
but you're not. You're just
smaller channel.
All your content is based around them having opinions.
Yeah, I never heard anyone there outside of their chat.
Frequently, why I see in their arguments almost all the time is that,
dude, I would never call my chat nobody's. We're free.
I have no idea. I've never heard them say that personally. I've heard them say it about the Andor guy.
Yeah,
I don't follow Star Wars.
Yeah, they said that about the Andor guy too. Don't you think that's weird?
Oh wait, hold on.
Yes, it's fucking weird, and it's
let me school both Nerdette and organized dude right here. Hollywood, not but 2 years ago, kind of put out, I don't know what you would call it, a memorandum or whatever, that movies will have to have a certain amount of not white people in it. So unfortunately, this is kind of like the what's that law called where you have to affirmative action. It's kind of like affirmative action. You can't tell. You honestly cannot tell me that the guy from Andor or the black girl that's in Ben Kenobi, you can't honestly say that they aren't diversity hires. You just can't, because that little memorandum now is in place that you have to have a certain amount of non-white people on the job. And because of that, you also don't know, did they get the job because they're the most qualified? And I'm flat out 100% sure there's a lot of people who are not only qualified, but overqualified for the jobs they're doing on a movie. But once again, if you put that out there, the question is always there. And that's the bad thing about rules and laws that do that.
Dumb opinion to have. But again, they're still allowed that opinion.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, sure, they're allowed that opinion, but like when they're continuously calling out women and minorities in media, they're allowed to have that opinion, and I am allowed to have the opinion that that is bigotry.
Okay,
then how
so
can you say that you are just correcting misinformation?
Are you not supposed to call out people who are not white?
Calling out misinformation and bigotry.
And bigotry, right. So to them, not liking Brie Larson is the same. They don't like what she has to say, so they're just calling it out. Do you see how hypocritical this is?
Tristan, by the way.
Okay, so like what
you're doing really well. I gotta say, I have to search for things that you're not already catching. That's pretty good. What infuriated me the most during this debate was Tris kept on stating how they never talk about fandom on their main channel, the one with the most views, but he claims, look at our podcast on the smaller channels. Okay. So it's kind of like, well, what I did, because I built a negative channel here, unfortunately, when I was doing the Comics Gate stuff. And I had to feed the beast. So when I broke away, a lot of people refused to watch even the comic book stuff. So I actually made a comic book channel where I try to keep the politics off of it, unless the politics are in the books themselves. It seems like they did the same thing, but I don't know. I don't really know.
What are your thoughts on Brie Larson?
I never seen Captain Marvel because it wasn't that interesting. I like Captain Marvel as a character, so I read a lot of her stuff. But as far as Brie Larson goes, I have no issue with her.
Okay, I mean, I actually
Brie Larson is a very good actress, but she's an understated actress. She does a lot with her eyes.
Say anything
and her facial expressions.
A billion.
She was wrong for Captain Marvel based on the script.
No, but I also don't think saying the same thing about the same YouTubers over and over requires a billion videos to call out either.
Well, we've hardly done a billion videos, but that being said,
we expected you actually did a billion videos.
She's just an actress who essentially stated her opinion about a movie. I think it was Wrinkle in Time, which isn't very.
It was Wrinkle in Time.
But essentially saying she doesn't care what white men say about the
movie.
Say
that about any other race.
All around the internet, people got
Look, if you want equality and you don't want equity.
Why
equity is everybody gets to run a race, but if you start to win,
because it was a woman saying that about white straight men.
And if you want
the same thing was said,
understand that you can't
by Christian Bale, very similar thing, and nobody batted an eye. That's not my point I'm making here. You're not. This is why I tried to tell you through email. I'm calling out. I'm not against a lot of your opinions. I'm against a lot of the hypocrisy behind it.
Well, I mean, so they're allowed to say pretty bigoted stuff.
Yes,
we aren't allowed to call it out. Is that
sure? But then don't pretend like you're 100%. You're this amazing initiative that has.
Who are you to say what is bigoted, what is hateful, and what's so forth? I mean, granted, yeah, there are certain words you can't. And I went off on that before in another stream. Nobody should be getting their panties in a bunch over any word, no matter what color you are. And if you're allowing yourself to be controlled by a single word, that's on you. That is your own weakness. Okay. Her opinion about white straight men over 40, ageism, sexism, racism. She couldn't say it about anybody else too. Racism is racism. Misandry and misogyny, both bad.
The fans in heart when all you talk about is YouTubers and not even the properties.
Well, like I just said, we do talk about the properties, and we're going to go into them even more.
We're going to do it more in the future, right? Don't you see how you should be covering? Have you done a review on Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
On your main channel?
I've seen it
on the initiative
4 times already.
No,
on the initiative.
Yet.
See what I'm saying? Are you reviewing?
So, like a review of Guardians of the Galaxy would certainly change your mind.
Oh,
on
dear
everything?
Lord. Get the...
If you were covering the properties that you claim to love, yes.
I
that would be the difference, all the difference in the world. Well, not all of it, but yes. You did an essay on it?
Yeah, I'm doing an essay on it.
A video essay.
Putting it together. Essays take time.
He's doing a video essay on it. It's a kind of a video where you write out a long
like you're doing a scripted video.
Yeah.
Okay. So then have you covered like Andor, all these shows on there? Because I went through your videos in more detail and I didn't see a single review.
Otis Attenborough. I was about to highlight
Well, years ago, but not recently.
By the way, super chats are welcome.
You can go into the podcast. I cover all that stuff.
But isn't the fandom initiative where it should be if this is going to be about the fans?
Well, I mean, the fandom initiative is a joint project between myself, Dane, and Turf. And like I said, we're going to be doing more stuff like that. But
yeah, I see what she's saying. Look, they call themselves actual fandom, but their entire focus is on what they call anti-fans. Yes, they are the gatekeepers crying out that fandom menace are the gatekeepers. You call yourself actual fandom, and the people who disagree anti. Right there, that's end of story. Freaking case closed. But let's
specifically
continue.
The fandom initiative was kind of almost formed with the idea of looking at a lot of misinformation that's getting spread through these people who posed as critics, essentially.
Like what? I would have to hear like what.
All right. Well, we're just going to keep rocking around in circles. Because then you gave off the completely wrong idea. Because when you guys... Initially, I saw Turf Nation do a video about it, and he said the exact opposite. He was supposed to be about the fans, everything else. So it seems like,
I mean, it is.
You don't know what to be right now.
They call themselves fandom initiative.
Let's move on a little bit because there are
okay. There you go. Sorry, I do stand
think,
corrected.
Number one,
only
we are
one of
talking
them
about
calls
providing
themselves actual fandom.
where fans can talk and not have to worry about a lot of.
That's bullshit because there's no way I could come into your audience with the opinions that I have and have a conversation. I mean, there's no way half of my audience could.
I mean, it kind like I don't see what opinions are you talking about?
Well, I'm assuming you're not familiar with my channel.
I've seen a bit, but not a lot.
I'm rather abrasive.
A lot, actually. Well, I'm fine if you're abrasive. But like
I don't think calling a black man chunky monkey, for instance, is a cool thing to say.
I will say maybe that wasn't the best phrasing, but
or Uncle Tom.
Wait a second.
You realize how many videos you would made if that was said by them?
By them? I don't know why I would.
Did he actually call a black guy chunky monkey? Did that actually happen? What video is that? Please tell me what that video that is. Oh my gosh. The Uncle Tom is dumb enough, but
the worst thing you have that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said was literally diversity higher. Dane has said worse about real people, not actors.
Well, number one, I'm not Dane, but number two, like what?
Okay. Actual fandom called him that. Okay. Very close friend, I'm assuming. My understanding, you just never call a black man monkey. Never do that. Ever. He did it on Twitter. Holy crap. Wrench is here to keep the peace and to verify people who bid on the auction, says Maranya. Actors are real people. I messed up there. Yes, they are. They play fake people, but they are real people. Yeah.
But this was about
they've said
the fandom initiative, right?
Yeah, it's about the fan initiative, for sure.
Okay. And he's in it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, you could argue Chunky Monkey was perhaps a poor choice of word. I won't argue.
Right. And I do, to be fair, I do think he was saying like Chunky Monkey, like the ice cream thing. But if
okay, if he's just
any of those people we have previously talked about were to say that, you guys would have been on the attack.
Well, I mean, they've said much, much worse in general.
Like diversity hire, because that's not worse.
Well, I don't know if I'd go to diversity hire, but most of these guys have dropped the N-word regularly.
That is true.
I mean,
we have actually seen that.
I've never seen Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, who I don't like and I don't consume his content, say the N-word.
They're trying to be edgelords, and they just come off. They really do come off as racist and sexist.
I have to say that essentially he does this all for clicks and doesn't really care.
Oh yeah, didn't he? I think most of us knew that.
Objection. How can you know their mindset? Now, if he said something, fine. If they have mentioned it, look, I end a lot of my videos in the beginning with, this is how I'm trying to make a living. I got fired from my job. I never wanted to be fired again. I wanted to be my own boss. So I came onto this trying to work up a channel to the point where I didn't have to go out and work again for somebody else. I'm my own boss. But the way I figured out to do that is you have to be 100% sincere with everybody. I'm an open book to the point where I've gotten yelled at by my daughter for outing her. And I don't know if Gail's got mad at anything I said yet, but I've actually said out loud, this is why I'm trying to make this my full-time job. And if they hadn't said that, then you can't say they're just doing it for the money.
Like if you watch more than 2 videos.
But I mean, he has admitted it, and lots of people take him seriously, and that's a problem.
Sure, absolutely. But that's not and that's why I think debunking.
No, it's not a problem. I'm sorry, but look, they have their fans. Awesome. You disagree with them? Okay, fine. But it's not a problem. It works like this. If you don't like it, don't even watch it. End of story. End of story on that one.
Is good, but not constant, especially when you're not actually giving light to the properties that you pretend to love. That's the biggest issue with you guys. You have a solid idea, but a terrible execution. And then what really got me on your guys' kind of watching
the readers revolt was don't just talk about the bad.
Question.
What do you think the good is?
Before I bring this up, about 6 months ago, Comicsgate doxed me.
Okay,
do you think that's okay?
Absolutely not.
Not even a little bit.
They put my real name out there. All of that fun stuff. You think it's you don't like that, right?
No. Yeah.
It was I saw the stuff. It was absolutely horrible. My advice to Tristan was to steer into it. If they're going to put out the pictures, you put out the pictures. Don't let them control the narrative. You control the narrative. You control your own story. That was my advice to Tristan. I think we're seeing more pictures of her. So, hey, she took my advice. All right, cool. But I think by doing that, it makes Tristan stronger because that's one less thing for them to come at her with.
Then why did you guys become completely okay with putting Rag's real name out there?
Well,
Rags Morales isn't called Rags
Where?
Morales?
Has he ever released it himself?
I did it and it works, says Nerdette.
He posted it on IMDb.
Do you have proof of that?
We can go to IMDb.
Ask for the receipts. High five.
How do you know he put it on there? You're telling me he put it on there? Because by your video,
something that ticks me off says
you said it was on. Actually, it was Pop Counterculture said that you guys found this literally on 4chan,
which clearly implies she's a member. She is certainly not. Oh, really? Casually. Oh, I've seen it.
I can pull that up.
I know where I found it. It was on IMDb.
So you found it, but it wasn't. Anyone can post on IMDb.
Rags from EFAP. I'm sorry. I don't. Rags isn't he the dog from EFAP? I have no idea what that means. I'm sorry.
BD. Right. So you don't know that it was him. So you're okay with putting his name out there, which makes it so much easier for swatting for anything.
Well, I mean, it's public information if it's on IMDb. You can find me on IMDb.
So if somebody takes it from 4chan and put it on IMDb, you are totally fine with putting that out there. So what you're saying is me being doxxed is inconsequential because it doesn't matter if somebody puts it out there.
Well, Kristen, have you ever worked with IMDb? You can remove it if you want. If it gets out there, you can remove it.
This is incredibly faulty logic. Tristan was pushing on the fact that they doxed somebody. And he is defending the doxing, saying, well, we doxed him, sure. But he had the opportunity to remove it. Dude, that still doesn't mean you didn't dox him. You still were a douchebag. Once again,
anybody can put it on there. You realize that, right?
Yes, but if you're the person who owns it, you can remove it.
Doesn't matter. You still doxed him.
If you're the person that owns what?
If your page, like if it's talking about you, you can remove it.
Okay, I've been doing this all throughout, and wow, I'm probably like an hour into my own live stream. Well, it's only 26 minutes into this 2-hour video. But I do notice, by the way, Tristan, you've got this guy on the ropes. He always seems to be in highly defensive mode. He seems, you're too young for this. Everybody on this channel is probably too young for this reference. But in 1984, Martin Short played a lawyer on Saturday Night Live, and he's smoking a cigarette. He's always sweating. He's like, I'm not wrong. You're wrong. I don't know what it is. This is the way this guy seems right now.
You can contact him. They'll fix it up.
Are you going to bring it up where you have the proof that he put it on there?
Well, the fact is it's public information. What does it matter? I mean,
so now that my name was put onto forums
and the FBI most wanted list.
It's now okay for you to put it out there and everybody else to spread docs.
Let's see.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm noticing the chat is mixed with your fans and his.
Anytime he wants.
Okay, so you went to
his name's not on here.
IMDb.
Oh, so you were lying.
Smack. And down he goes.
I think he's breaking up.
Oh, he's freezing. Let's see. Isn't the damage already done if your name is out there?
Is he breaking up?
By the way, doxed me, and
is it just me?
Freeing, actually.
Are you breaking up there?
I remember I
couldn't hear you.
I did a face reveal. It was like, guys, this is what I look like.
There you go. You're good now. His name is not on there.
Okay.
I noticed OC being on the defensive for the vast majority. Right?
It was when Ed did that, but
at the end of the debate throughout the stream,
I can actually I have the clip where he says he found it on.
I want to stick with this. I don't want to spoil
4chan or Kiwi Farms, one of the two.
Kiwi Farms. I don't know how they are now, but during the Comicsgate years, they were horrible. Horrible.
Completely.
So do you see why that's an issue? It's not okay when they do it to me, or it wouldn't be okay if they did it to anyone in your audience or Dane or you. But you guys were perfectly fine with doing it to Rags. And actually Pop Counter Culture said he was okay with it because he didn't respect people's pronouns.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that justification. That being said, even when Ed did that stream, it was on IMDb. Like maybe Rags changed it. Maybe he saw that.
This
but you can't
so
prove that. I can prove that he said it was on 4chan.
A reporter who's not afraid to ask.
And I can prove, or I'm sorry, Kiwi Farms. And I can prove that it's not on IMDb.
Okay.
Because
you realize how
he's searching for a way
this
out.
Is. You guys are. Do you not see why I'm saying you're two sides of the same coin? You're okay with doxing as long as it's not your side.
Would end
you're okay with
we made a mistake.
As long as it's not your side.
We weren't thinking about it. We were just
all right. Well, I mean, we're talking
whatever.
about something that used to be publicly out there and isn't now.
But you can't prove that.
I probably could have given more time, but not here on a live stream.
Okay, you got them. Move on to the next.
I mean, if you want, I can email you later and dig it up.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I yelled out during the stream, how could Rags take it down when he never put it up?
That's what I thought. I will get to the super chats, guys. I'm sorry. I want to have the conversation first. I promise I will get to that.
I promise. If there's
so
a
I
super
apologize.
Chat, I will read it right away.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about is we're going to talk a little bit about you guys did I will say the editing was great. The editing was great. I want to give you a compliment before going into this.
If you're gonna start talking about that same video, I gotta agree. The editing was done very well. Everything else it starts off at a lie, and as soon as that happens, nothing that follows is trustable.
It was like a mission statement video. You know which one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Why was the thumbnail changed?
I mean, the thumbnail changed.
They had political groomers before.
Oh yeah,
that's not the thumbnail that's up there now.
Political groomers.
Oh, because we all did a different thumbnail for each of our channels. It's a
cult of personality. It's
right,
not
but why was the political groomer one taken down?
Was it?
Okay, let me call this out right here. YouTube is a great place for. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. It's early in the morning. It's not so much, God dang it. Smart people help me out. It's when you go searching for your opinion. You just want to hear it out of somebody else's mouth. Confirmation biased. Yeah. That's what YouTube is good for. Usually YouTube is not grooming anybody. They're attracting people with the same ideas and same ideology. Occasionally, you'll get somebody like Bob here who will turn on a video by one of the fandoms. I don't think they've ever heard of me. I'm so far down. I'm not even Comicsgate anymore. But they might turn on something and then they hear something. It's like, wait a second, I never thought about it like that. And they might change their mind. But yeah, most of the time, YouTube is just attracting confirmation bias.
I can't find it.
Thank you, Google.
That one would be on Dane's channel, I believe.
They want an echo chamber. I think so. I actually think this guy really wants Fandom Menace.
I will double check.
Myself to be silenced because
that's on Dane's channel. Yes, he absolutely changed the thumbnail.
He got rid of it. You know, if he might be able to get sued for that kind of thing.
I'm just curious why that was done. Do you think it was maybe in bad faith?
I can't read his mind. I have no idea.
Which video was it there?
Okay.
Which
also with that video, you said here to hate on you, and
people tend to search
perhaps
for
much
to support
more
their views rather than to find information.
What's the more?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, Shane, the second week on Guardians held very strong.
They're here to hate on you and maybe more. What is this in reference to?
I'm quoting your video. I have a bunch of quotes I want to talk about.
Oh, that video sucked. By the way, you got to check out the EFAP on that video.
In your mission statement video, it was one of your guys' parts.
Hey, Kevin Boo, what's up?
Okay, so I see where you're at. Okay, I guess that makes sense. We were just talking about it. My brain's not what it used to be. Anyways, yeah. Well, I mean, I pretty much, if you're not a straight white male, yeah, they're pretty much here to hate on you. And as far like, are you talking about,
we also point out? And look, I'm not a big fan of the Fandom Menace. I like Gary. There's some dude I kind of like his energy, but I think he's 100% fake. Because he doesn't talk like this all the time. But I still enjoy his content. Go figure. It's kind of like Rageaholic. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you know what? He's not talking like that in his normal days. But there's a guy named Joshua Rises, I think is okay. But oh goodness gracious, I went off on a tangent and I forgot what he was saying.
That video, you said they're here to hate on you.
Okay, yeah.
Perhaps.
And he says, if you're not a white straight male, they hate you. And I do notice, by the way, that in the Fandom Menace are quite a few not white straight males. So perhaps they might watch the Fandom Menace videos.
Much more.
If you have a complaint about something, make sure it's something they actually do. Let's see. I never heard of this guy, but I'm exhausted by the hate amongst fans, whether it's SJW or anti. Yeah.
But they're here to hate on you and maybe more. What is this in reference to?
Maybe more.
I'm quoting your video. I have a bunch of quotes I want to talk about.
I missed that one, Tris.
Video?
That's pretty good.
In your mission statement video, it was one of your guys' parts.
Oh, the mission statement. Okay. So I see where you're
They will hate on you maybe more. It sounds violent.
My brain's not what it used to be. Anyways, yeah. Well, I mean, I pretty much, if you're not a straight white male, yeah, they're pretty much here to hate on you. And as far like, are you talking about like the comments? Because like I did notice.
No, I just wanted to know what the much more meant.
And much more. There's
like, are they gonna stab me? Like, you're insinuating violence within that video multiple times.
Well, I mean, we bring up violent acts that have been committed kind of in the same vein, although, yeah, I mean, it's
what
kind of
you bring up genuine.
What violence did they commit that's in the same vein? This is that bullshit that you always hear. Well, you disagree and that kind of thing can cause violence. No, violence is violence. Words is not violence. Unless you're saying, hey, guys, go out and beat the shit out of this person. No, if you're putting out an opinion, that's putting out an opinion. If some jackass takes it and goes, well, you know, that guy I listen to on YouTube says this guy over here is bad, I should punch him, then you're doing YouTube wrong. These guys, these people who are like, when you say, if you hold the opinion that a man is only a man and a woman is only a woman, that a man could want to live like a woman, he will never be that. A woman could want to live like a man. If you hold that opinion, they say that you're causing violence. No, you're saying words. Oy vey. What was it? Chris Rock said, anybody who said words are violence never got punched in the face.
January 6th. And I am not defending January 6th, but you're making a connection between Mahler and January 6th. Do you see how far you have to reach here?
Okay, so do you not think people like Jeremy Griggs or Nerdette would have marched on January 6th if they were there?
Oh my Lord, he did not ask you that freaking question. My ears are refusing to have heard that. Were they at January 6th? Were they at the Capitol on January 6th? By the way, where Trump did say we are going to march peacefully. And then we now have video of people who are let in by the police. And we have video of obvious feds breaking down the barriers. Good Lord. Dude, they're the type of people who would do it. Therefore, they are the people who did it. The fact that your head didn't explode, you spent I'm 33 minutes in.
Probably, but they weren't. So how can I say for sure?
Do you think they will have supported the Capitol being overthrown?
The Capitol wasn't overthrown. There was no insurrection. There was a riot. It was a riot that looks like it got started by Ray Epps and his boys. But come on, guys, seriously. You think they nobody was there to overthrow shit. Nobody had a weapon. No, there were no weapons. Nobody was going in there to overthrow anything. They were going in there to have their voice heard.
No idea.
I mean,
I don't doubt that they would, but they didn't. They weren't there. You can't put intentions on somebody that weren't literally there.
All right, but like I know Jeremy still supports Trump very vocally.
I voted for Trump twice, and I will do it again in 2024 should he run. There's nothing wrong with supporting Trump. Okay, you know what? You call them racist. I'm going to assume you don't like Trump because he made it so people who were sentenced unfairly got out of jail early. So obviously you wanted those black people to rot in prison. You racist motherfucker. He made it so all those bad deals that were made to black songwriters in the 50s and 60s, that their estates are now going to get the money deserved. You must have wanted all those black people not to get their money. You racist piece of, and you, Jesus, Lord in heaven, this guy is so disingenuous and goddamn stupid. I call it Dixie Cup deep. I call it Dixie Cup deep because they thought about everything about that much and they won't look into it more. They won't actually think about the logical conclusions of what they believe in their actions. Good Lord in heaven. Okay.
Don't you think they could come back and let go? Well, don't you think somebody like Bob would have went to a Black Lives Matter rally and it's two sides of the same coin?
You're saying Black Lives Matter and January 6th are the same thing?
No, absolutely not. I mean,
no. Oh, hold on. Thank you, Boo, for the super chat. Yay, chats. Woo. It's saying my #1 favorite channel, honest. What, mine? I hope you're saying mine. That's awesome. Thank you. I don't know if I missed something where you're like, hey, anything but. I've seen promoting hate for even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and that was decent. My favorite movie of the year so far. But why we're hoping for a movie to fail? Dude, I've been saying that for years now. It seems like every time a movie fails, the fandom menace act like we get a prize. Like, woo, it failed. Right on. No. Robert is saying I should shut up and let Tristan talk because she puts him in his place. He can't understand her point. Let's see. Thank you very much for the super chat once again. Maranya has given the public service announcement that Germans will be bombing Pearl Harbor and donkeys will be violated by Ian this live stream. You have been warned. Just wait till we get to the part where once again, apparently he says something about Uncle Tom. I did a video. By the way, I took the classic illustrated Uncle Tom and I did a panel to panel. I read through it so everybody would understand. Anybody, black or white, who uses Uncle Tom as an insult doesn't know shit about what they're talking about. And by the way, are supporting the racists. If he brings up Uncle Tom, which you guys are telling me you will, that is when I will actually, I'll get into it a little bit more. Okay, let us continue here. Oh, okay. Is Black Lives Matter like January 6th? No. No way, shape, or form does January 6th compare to the riots of, what was it, 2020? The amount of damage done, the amount of lives lost to the Black Lives Matter Antifa riots are astronomically larger than what happened on January 6th at the Capitol. Am I not sharing it again? Oh, sorry. January 6th at the Capitol was so much built up by people who wanted to make Republicans look bad. And look, let me tell you something. The rioters, the people who actually broke in, which now we're believing is feds. Now that we see video that the cops are letting people in, come on, it doesn't even freaking compare. People, not only were lives lost, but access was lost, access to food. Just recently, we even had, we saw a riot and this lady was walking through Walmart talking about how they don't have any place to go buy food anymore. The day after the one of the riots, there's an old woman saying, I need the store. I need to get my medicine. She's too freaking old to go across town to a Walgreens that isn't going to be burned down. So no, You ignorant jackass, or jackasses for the people who believe this. January 6th doesn't come close to the Black Lives Matter Antifa riots. Nobody tried to override you douche. Yeah, what is that called? Straw manning? I stopped counting at 50 dead with 25 billion, says Shane. Yeah. Yeah, and what he's really putting, what they're really doing is what's the blind guy with no facial features? Oh shit. Okay. Hold on. I know what I did wrong. Sorry guys. Sorry guys. Okay, that's mine. Where is she? Let me pause hers. I'm sorry. I got off track a little bit, so we did skip a little bit. Okay, present. Sharing, audio is on. Debating, organized chaos. Not Nerdette, Newstand, Stomps. Don't show your own video. I am actually that narcissistic. I comment on my own videos. So there you go. Okay. All righty. Here we go. This should be right, gang.
What?
Okay, just to be fair though, Nerdette had audio problems at the beginning of this, so there you go. All right.
That like Black Lives Matter. Number one, I actually didn't go to a Black Lives Matter rally. I actually did plan to, but I never made it. But
well,
that
you're
being
racist
said,
for not showing.
Even if like there's never been a Black Lives rally that tried to overthrow the Capitol, so like they're not the same thing.
Hold on.
Oh, can everybody see
Did I
here,
say
okay?
they were the same thing?
But you just
did I?
them.
Hold on, answer yes or no. It's not that hard. Did I say they were the same thing?
Okay, so verbatim, no, you didn't say they're the same
exactly.
thing.
Nor did I mean.
I think that's the entire freaking argument he's making. Well, verbatim you didn't, but if I twisted shit around, you said, yeah.
You are not. This is arguing in bad faith, Bob. I didn't say they were the same thing. Because I was talking about violence and violence on both sides. I'm saying they could say the same thing about you. They weren't there. You can't put intentions in their heart.
Yes.
You can say
that is true.
Maybe they would have, but you can't say that they caused violence. You literally allude to it multiple times over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I can tell what you're doing, so I may not talk too much longer, but I will say,
he's ready to jump. I'm not judging obviously he doesn't, because there's a few more minutes
what
to
I
this.
think I see in their hearts or some sort of psychic connection or anything. I'm judging them by their actions.
No, you're judging them by
What's really weird to me is you're trying to argue in bad faith to me, but one of the sources that you use in that video is Noah Bertlansky.
Who?
Noah Bertlansky.
You use Noah Bertlansky as a gotcha for Comicsgate in that video when that man's a literal pedo.
Oh, okay. I don't know who Noah Bertlansky
Have you ever heard of Protasia?
No.
It is a pedo organization, and you use them as a source.
But after I perform Herculean mental gymnastics, I can assume anything about you. That's
because he wrote a derogatory art. I think it was New York Times on Comicsgate.
Oh, goodness gracious.
And you use them as a source, as if that's a credible source. You use multiple sources that are really bad. That's the worst. But you also use something like Social Blade.
Ethan Van Sciver took over, but we used to get called all sorts of shit.
I can't hear you.
Newspapers.
I can't hear you.
You're talking about the Noah Bertlansky guy? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who he is?
It seems to me like that video was made and they just took
but you still use them as a source, right?
Like this, and they never really paid attention to what they were putting in the video, because Nerdette knows more about
the video. He wrote an article about Comicsgate.
Noah Bertlansky,
Okay, I know.
the writer for CNN or
Yes.
The Independent.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know who he writes for right now.
What they did was they went out.
I mean,
and
he wrote for The Independent 2 days
They
ago.
found articles about Comicsgate. We were getting
You're saying he's a
lambasted.
pedophile?
Once again,
Based
the
on
people
what?
who were lambasting us started off at a lie.
I can send you.
But
He's
they
a
were
staff
calling us all
contributor for
corporate-isms
Protasia
and all sorts of that.
I would definitely look into that before using him as a resource.
I
mean,
ridiculous.
he's working for The
This guy
Independent.
has gone
If he was a pedophile,
past
I
the
think
10
they'd
points
boot
to
him
earn a
out
mental
really
gymnastics gold medals.
You're more than welcome to look into it, but he is absolutely not a source you want to be using.
I mean, do you have anything to back up what you're saying right now?
Fandom Menace
Sure,
is bad.
I can send you the stuff.
So says Jared, the subway guy. All right, yeah, this guy.
Actually, I'll just share it.
If it's, I hope my channel doesn't get taken down because you're sharing that, but Nerdette. But there you go.
Let me zoom in here so you don't see any information.
All righty. So once again, this guy isn't having a debate. He is literally just getting interviewed by Nerdette.
Meet Noah Bertlansky, the Ruskin University Press published author working hard to normalize pedophilia.
What website is that?
What side of that?
That
because
was
if it's a
right
site
off
I don't
of
go
Facebook.
to, I'm
That's
not
why
going
I
to
zoomed in.
I'm not going to say.
Let me go to the actual article.
Whoa. Yeah, Facebook is anything you want.
Yeah. That's just where it was posted. Noah Bertlansky is a communications director of the organization that engages in the normalization of pedophilia. The name of the organization is Protasia Foundation, and it does appear to endorse extremely problematic opinions.
All right. What
you have to look into Protasia. It is one of the most sickest places I can't believe talking to actually a kids about things they should not be talking about.
Michael Tracy is a suspicious
Nerdette's Newstand. They got charitable tax exemption.
Michael, I don't know who that is. How would I know who that is?
Interviewed. She taking the dude to school.
Here's him endorsing Protasia.
This article.
This part I kind of want to skip through.
Looks like
this is dangerous territory. Sorry, I've got strike already. So.
But
okay. Alrighty. I saw this part of the video. I talked about that part of the video. Not
you
yours.
Literally have it in your video
coming up.
And also, like,
okay,
own time.
I'm just back it up a touch. Okay, his vibrator went off.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's on the freaking ropes. Are we getting the part where he says,
like I said,
feel
like
your
this is all going to require a lot of
research? His feelings having bearing on what it is. Yeah.
This group, but like I said, no, Bertlansky is a writer for The Independent. I'm sure if there's stuff about him being a pedophile, they wouldn't let him write. That's a major news source. That'd be a huge deal.
Yes, it would, wouldn't it? You would think anyway. But right now, they're actually trying to normalize that crap.
Well, I can show you some of the stuff that they've said, and I can send you a long, detailed video on some of
Are there any
what they've done
campaigns that don't undermine online child protection? They claim to be a child protection org, but it's hard to find an issue where they.
And you're not going to like Shoe on Head because she's not I'm assuming far enough left.
Oh, smack.
I have very.
If you don't actually agree, then,
okay. Yeah. I mean, and that's fine. Here's me, Noah Bertlansky. I can send this to you.
I hear that a lot.
Here, I can send you all of the proof that you want, and you still, like I said, even if you didn't know, and I totally understand not knowing. But here is their MAPS support group.
What I think happened here, seriously, is that they found a whole bunch of articles that were
breaking up,
going after Comicsgate, and
you're breaking up.
They just grabbed the wrong freaking one.
Here, I'll send this to you in the private chat, and you can do this in your own time.
Like,
I'm just saying,
take him to the woodshed.
Just because you're using a source that's kind of.
Hey, Rachel, what's up?
that makes me question all a lot of your sources. You also used Social Blade.
What?
You actually know how inaccurate Social Blade is,
this is the
right?
part where they included me.
I mean, it gives you a range.
Okay, let me give you an example here.
Off, by the way.
I did really good during the Johnny Depp time. There was a month that it said I should have made $1.1 million.
Wow.
Right?
Hey, Nerdette,
and I made $4 grand.
Freaking super chats. Come on, 1.1.
Yeah, well,
you use that as a definitive source to say that they were in it for the money, and how to show how much money they were making.
Well, that's well, at least to my experience, it's fairly reliable. But it's not perfect by any means.
There's a big difference between $1.1 million and 4,000.
No,
they have you can't. You got to use real sources.
Like, when have we ever said, aha, here's Social Blade, and that proves our case?
No, you actually didn't show it was Social Blade. I think you tried to hide that. But I recognized it from using it in the past.
Okay, like, when have any of our cases hinged on Social Blade?
You literally have it in your video.
How you said you've struggled with action.
And also, like, I don't recall hinging a case on Social Blade as if it's some sort of keystone or anything. But that being said, like, yeah, like you're saying we're claiming we're in it for the money when people like Jeremy literally say
when you were claiming that they were only in it for the money, and I do believe a lot of them are.
Yeah, a lot of them have admitted it.
Yes. By Otis, I'm so sorry. He's leaving. Wonder Woman was better than Captain Marvel. 100% agree. By Otis, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. But your whole little schnick was that they were in it for the money, and look at how much money they're making. And it was a whole, like, you had dozens of YouTubers on there. You even had I Love Comics, who's not a grifter at all.
Thank you.
But you had how much they made. That's the name of the channel. You had I Love Comics on there.
When was this?
Oh my God.
Heard of them.
It's literally on your video.
Yes, it is.
I can show you.
Once again, this is I know they don't know who I am. This is what exactly what I said. They put shit in that video. They have no idea. They just said, well, this will back us up. I will bet you they did no research.
You use Social Blade as a source and then show I Love Comics.
Does I Love Comics go by a different name?
No. Well, I do have the From the Long Box, but no.
You use Social Blade here. And again, terrible source, one of the worst sources to how much they make.
Wow, Tristan, you're really going.
And you have all of these YouTubers on here.
Thank you. I'm touched.
Right there is I Love Comics.
Yeah, the 17.8. I got news for you. That ain't happening, bro. That ain't happening.
This is just going over.
This is just bullshit we put in there.
How much they make?
Yeah, it's estimates and shit. Yeah.
There, yeah, I didn't realize you guys couldn't see it over here.
Yeah.
Like this is a terrible. You can't. Okay. This is a terrible source.
One year where I might have made that.
Wait. Let me.
So that's either way old or way wrong because I am nowhere near that now. That's why we do the auctions on Saturday night at 8 p.m. every Saturday.
Wait, say that one more time.
Oh, the auction. Sorry, Tristan. I'll say it one more time. The auction is on Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. Yeah.
I think I've heard maybe 2, but no, I Love Comics is not in it for the money. Not even a little bit.
Ooh, look, I don't give false opinions. This I gotta say, Nerdette, this one you're wrong on. I literally started this channel as a job. I am 100% in it for the money. I will never give an opinion that is not my own. I will never not be sincere about an opinion. You may hear me tell a joke, but abso-freaking-lutely, I used to end my videos with please drop $1 in the tip jar over at PayPal or whatever, Ko-Fi, because this is the way I'm trying to make a living. By the way, guys, if you don't mind, go over and to Ko-Fi, links in the description below, drop $1 in the tip jar, help out the channel. But yeah, that being said, I think when people say they're in it for the money is they don't care what they're saying so long as they get the money for it. I meant you're not a grifter, she says. I understand you deserve to make the money from. Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to clear it up because I am somebody who's actually said that at the end of my videos. And I never made it. I never wanted it to be a secret that I'm trying to make a job of this. I am in it for the money, but I absolutely will never give an opinion that is not my own. I won't do a movie review by showing you someone else's review and saying I agree with it. All right, let me continue here. Tristan makes everyone look bad unless it's mindless zombies. Those are smart kill or I don't understand what that means. Englandine is not a sellout. No one is paying him to bomb Pearl Harbor or Macedonia. Okay. And Shane bought a super sticker. Thank you very much. I will try not to mess up getting back to the thing like I did before. But thank you very much for the super sticker there, Shane. Thank you. All right. Let me get that there. And that's very kind of you. And let's get the sharing and the... I want to call them names here. I'm sorry.
I'm not familiar with I Love Comics.
But you were familiar enough to put them in your fucking video.
Yeah, no, it's a chart from a reliable source that we didn't. It's not.
Your reliable source
really
is so
really know.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, Hensel
all right.
is a troll.
I guess so. In your mission statement, when you use so there's this part where you go through,
don't make it insulting,
and you say
otherwise
these people use emotionally charged and loaded statements that elicit animosity. Right?
Yeah.
That was your guys' words. Don't you do exactly the same? Like, listen. Your most recent titles, hold on. Emotionally charged and loaded statements that elicit animosity. Your most recent titles are Clownfish TV supports assaulting people on strike. Nerdrotic is a triggered snowflake. Melon Mac is a transphobe.
Yeah, no,
those elicit animosity and are emotionally charged and loaded statements.
That's true.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not against doing that. My point is they're doing it to support misinformation and bigotry.
Wrong. Once again, he's telling you how the fandom menace think. Look, you could get an idea of how they feel and how they believe. And I went through this also when I did the EFAP on their video. What Tristan is talking about. I mentioned I love the saying MCU. I think it's brilliant and it's great for t-shirts 100%. But if you're only seeing the MCU part and the fact that I think Gary was wearing a Make Marvel mail again, I'm sorry, but no matter what your true intention is, that comes off as misandrous. It comes off as hating women for being women, not just that, oh, well, they wrote She-Hulk bad. And you're not going to convince me, Gary's not going to convince me that he doesn't want a good She-Hulk movie. So there is a way to do things, but he's flat out saying what they're thinking. And that is wrong. All right. I admit I was laughing so much by this point, says Raymond. Robert saying he's a fun guy. That dog is going to fight them incest. Okay, let's see. How odd how he knows the intent for everyone. Exactly. He's reading their minds.
So then why put it in there if you're not against it?
Don't you think it's bad to use language like that to support and enhance bigotry and misinformation?
I think it's bad to clickbait, but I admit when I do it.
Well,
I think it's bad to do.
part of the game, but like
right,
they're doing
exactly.
Everything is clickbait.
They're literally doing it to push bigotry and misinformation.
Then don't call out people for clickbaiting and then do the same. And that's the thing.
No,
I understand that I don't like Melanie Mack because I do think she's a transphobe. I do think she's
absolutely
uses some awful opinions.
Okay, do you hear the difference there? Do you hear why I'm not going after Tristan, but I will after this? And not because she's my friend, because she knows if we have a disagreement, I'm going to bring it up. But Tristan says, I believe that she is a transphobe. He says, oh, absolutely. He is stating it as a matter of fact. She is stating it as an opinion. My guess is based on what's been said before. And of course, Robert is backing this up saying, when you do nothing but complain about the same things, it'll make you look like that's your actual views. But that's what I'm talking about. It's one thing to say something along the lines of, by what he says, I have to believe this. But that's not what he says. He says they are this. All right. Oh, incest. Okay. You might want to understand that you got a different audience here. Okay.
To justify her being kind of crappy, right? But that doesn't mean
this is
that
the Robert
I am
William,
not
the super chat. I love comics, aka Englentine, makes zero money. He's usually on the verge of dropping his comic auction on his channel because of low views. That is that's actually what happened. We got shadow banned. I have like Kevin Vu came in and he was talking about how hard this channel is to find nowadays. I have had multiple subscribers ask me why I have not been making videos. I never stopped making videos. I never stopped doing the live streams and so forth. But the word is just not getting out. So we started the comic book auction on Saturday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, to so I would still be making money from the channel. Thank you very much to RDV for the idea. It was his idea. That
going to support her right to say what she fucking wants.
Well, I mean, absolutely. She's allowed to say what she wants, just like I'm allowed to say, hey, that's transphobic and that's bigoted. And that's actually when I covered her in that video.
It's best to say you think or you believe or you feel.
Right. And that's not a normal thing for you. Right. If you're just covering it for misinformation, that's exactly why I covered. I believe did you cover the Dylan Mulvaney video or did you cover the Spider-Verse one?
Wait, I
covered the Spider-Verse.
Why would you cover this as a video if you're a comic book fandom?
It was misinformation, and that's why I covered it. But most of the time, what you're covering is not in misinformation. It's simple opinions. Right? People are allowed to be bigots, and it sucks.
Yeah, Robert, we're all good.
It does. It sucks. Mm-hmm. But you're giving them so much more attention. You are just signal boosting the fuck out of them.
So, how do you think you were supposed to deal with bigotry then? Because I'll be blunt. When we're dealing with people like Critical Drinker, I don't think they need a signal boost from me.
Okay, but you're more than
I'm not familiar with Critical Drinker, but I know he's probably got a lot of subs.
Or the Fandom Menace to a new audience. We watched
a woke video one time. The way you covered is if you're going to pretend like you are this you say it's not gatekeeping, but it is.
Thank you very much for coming back there, Dark Admiral.
If you are
I had never
wanting better for fandom, then you signal boost the fandom, not these anti-fans, as you call them. Because you don't signal boost the fandom at all.
He is so confused by that.
All right, so
look at that.
Let me
you can almost hear the wind travel through his ears right now.
You actually agree with a lot of what we say, correct?
For sure, but I don't force my views on other people. At least I try not to.
Well, I mean, how do we force our views on other people?
By blocking them if they have dissenting opinions.
Well, just having a dissenting opinion isn't enough, but if they're spreading bigotry and
no, they're not.
Yeah, I'll block them. They don't have right to my channel.
Right, no, and I agree. Same here, but same on my channel.
Who is this Bob guy?
But I have a lot of people What you don't
organized
understand and what you're
chaos.
doing wrong here
And there's this new
is you're
group
demonizing
of,
and otherizing
leftist
people
comic book fans
that maybe
They
are
started,
misinformed,
that
maybe
first
don't
was
understand,
introduced by
that maybe
a guy named
haven't
Dan.
been given.
I guess that's his name. He calls himself Actual Fandom. Used to be called Adversity in Comics. And he goes off on anyone who is on the right, talks about like say wokeism in comics and so forth. And they really focus on the fandom menace. And why not? That's going to be your big bread and butter. But what Nerdette is really getting onto them about is they started calling themselves the Fandom Initiative. And instead of talking about why you should be a fan of comics, they're talking about why you shouldn't be a fan of Gary or Geeks and Gamers, Ryan Kennel, Joshua Rises, Star Wars Girl, and so forth.
Giving a different opinion, maybe haven't been given a different worldview, and maybe by covering the topic of, okay, well,
Bob
this was claimed, this was woke, here's the truth in the situation. Right? And that's how Dane started, to be fair. That's how Dane started, and that's why I really liked his channel. But then it was like, Ethan Van Sciver did this, Comicsgate did this. It was all, there was no fandom involved. It was all going at people.
So they
covering
Robert Willing is saying they're
more of the fandom than you actually do,
because they rarely prove their deep cred.
I feel the need to go back a couple steps because we never got to.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning again.
So
okay,
you already said you agree with a lot of our points. You know, obviously we have differences, but you agree with a lot of our points. So I have to ask why, because it really feels like you're really poking around and looking for stuff to disagree with us on, just to disagree.
No,
I mean,
that's a big disagreement. Like. You are
no, I think you're just as much of political groomers as they are.
Okay. Groomer is a very loaded term. It's been
they're the same.
That's why I said political.
Same coin.
But all right, so I guess let's go ahead and establish exactly what you mean by that.
I mean, you claim they indoctrinate people to right-wing politics when that's exactly what you do also.
Consider
except on the left.
Indoctrinated if you're listening in, by the way.
Spreading
that is my goal.
Political messages is something I have an objection to.
Hey, good morning, Hominus. What's up?
Okay, excellent. Yeah,
but it shows what a hypocrite you're being.
Dark nobody is spreading anything. If you don't like someone's opinion, then you don't keep company with them.
You give them constant shit. Constant for being political groomers, so to speak. But you're doing the same thing. You're pushing your opinions on somebody else, and once they disagree, you're blocking them. You're simply doing the same thing on the left.
Okay, I got to admit, Tristan has a certain accent where sometimes she says something. Gail's got a Chicago accent, so I'm used to hearing it. But sometimes Tristan's O's sound like A's. I'm like, wait, did she say? Okay, that's what she meant. There you go.
So yeah, okay, but just spreading political ideologies, that's fine. If they were true libertarians, just spread libertarians. Okay, fine, cool, whatever. But that's not what they're doing as far as politics. What they're doing is spreading bigotry and misinformation.
I really want examples.
Right, you keep saying that over and over. They're spreading bigotry and misinformation. Right?
Point to it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not correcting only misinformation.
Because at this point,
there's been dozens of times I've made videos correcting misinformation. There's been dozens of times when it's actual misinformation, but I don't get to decide. This is what I have the issue with of you pushing your politics. You have decided that you have the moral high ground, right? Because you are not a bigot in your words. You have the moral high ground.
He really is on a high horse.
Quite like that. All I'm saying is,
yes, you would, because you call everybody bigots.
The ground. Shots every time he says bigotry and misinformation.
Yeah, well,
we would die of alcohol
poison.
I'll throw a couple
of examples at you. Do you remember when Prey came out?
Prey? Yes, I do.
Okay, great movie.
Okay, well, do you remember what their argument was against Prey?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I disagreed with them. I thought Prey was a fantastic film. Loved it. Critical Drinker didn't even watch the movie, and you could tell he made a second video because everybody went, wait a second, you didn't watch the movie, dude. But they were talking about how woke it was. I disagree, but here this is, okay? Their argument was not so much what he's I'm hold on just a sec. I'm about to assume.
Sure, it was woke. Oh my God, woman.
Well, yeah, no, their argument against Prey was essentially, how could a woman beat up a predator?
Okay.
That's it?
That's a dumb argument.
That would be a dumb argument. Okay, look, I disagree with the fandom menace on this movie. I loved Prey. I really thought this was the best Predator movie since Predator 2, and I love Predators. I think that there's only been a couple of really bad Predator movies. But what their actual, if you listen to the Critical Drinker, if you watched Gary's review, there are scenes where the warrior brothers that are actually supposed to be experienced at this are falling like flies, not just to the Predator, but she is constantly showing up every male in the movie. Constantly. Now, here's the thing I will say to the end of time, you don't make a strong female character by making weak male characters. There was a lot more to it than just, oh, woman bad. The one thing I loved about the movie is it set up about her in the beginning, which she paid off by defeating the Predator at the end. She was not the strongest, but she was fast, and she had she was very good at problem solving. And that's what they set up. Boom. But they did not say, well, woman bad. Come on. All right, let's go. Oh, let me get some comments here. Boom roasted. He took his stream down. Hominous. Wait, is my stream still up? Does Dane AK actual fandom is Copeland right now? Oh, okay. Sometimes telling someone that they don't want. Oh, sometimes telling someone something they don't want to hear actually takes love. If you don't care about the person, you will let them continue to be wrong. That is true. That is true. Let's see. Dane, aka actual fandom, is in Copeland right now. What's Copeland? Oh, coping. I got it. The Predator, directed by Shane Black, is the only real bad Predator. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Dane take down idea. And this guy, she's needling sounds like EVS is mocking SJW voice. Only it's his real voice. All righty. Let me get moving on here.
Really?
And I won't take people like that seriously.
Okay.
So
okay, so let me throw another.
Attacking them doesn't help that. Doing a review of the movie and telling how good it is and what's so great about it is what helps that. So
what you're arguing is that, hey, these guys are saying really bad things, but we shouldn't call it out, even though they're building.
I never once said you shouldn't come out. I'm saying don't pretend like you're an ambassador for fandom when you guys don't even speak about the fandom. Like, have you?
Good, great.
This is what's weird to me. Is the reason I originally subscribed to like Dane was I thought he was a comic book person, and I still think he is to a point. But I've never seen comic book reviews. I've never seen you guys talk about comics. I've never even really seen you talk about movies that you enjoyed, in like a review format.
I already brought up that I do the podcast, but apparently that's not popular enough to cover, so that doesn't count.
Which means you're putting it on your backup channel because you know it won't get clicks, right?
Bombs there. Alien vs. Predator.
Why does that not count?
Requiem.
It does count to a point, but it just shows you don't have the confidence in that content as compared to attacking somebody like Nerdette.
It's not about confidence in the content. It's the fact that I co-own that podcast, so it's going to be on a separate thing.
It's what? I didn't hear the last part of your sentence.
I co-own that podcast. I mean, I founded it, but I co-own it at this point.
Okay, so what's the issue with mine? So if these are things you guys love and you're interested, what is the issue with covering them on your channel?
I mean,
and not having it be a political discussion. I'm talking about not covering the, oh my God, the wokies. Oh my God, the SJW, anti-SJW, anti-fans, whatever the hell you want to call it. Just doing a fucking review or a video game you like or covering a comic you like.
Showing something.
Don't you see how it's so hypocritical? They're at least covering.
Hold on. There we go.
Don't think bigotry should be called out.
Okay, hold on just a second. Wow. Here's the thing. He's saying, do you think bigotry should be called out? Yeah, sure, fine, when it's real. When you're talking about something real and not something off to say, what he is calling bigotry, is it actual bigotry? Now, granted, they did show the guys saying some pretty bad things. Okay, call that shit out. But some people are saying stuff like, if you think Miles Morales should get his own identity, that's bigotry. So, yeah, shit's dying at this point. Nerdette's got him by the baby balls. Have a going, Raymond. Okay, I'm going to work. I'm going to continue listening, but I won't be chatting. Y'all drive safe. Yeah, take care of that.
Yeah, I call out bullshit all the time, but I don't feel like that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to enjoy shit with my community. That's what you pretended you were for there too.
That's it.
That's what the fandom initiative, right? Isn't that how you sold it?
You want to, I said, I got called out for that.
You do understand the initiative hasn't been around.
If you're going to talk about the bad, you got to give us the good.
We're not going to have
what do you think
you
is
want
good
immediately.
Right. How long have you guys been around?
What, 6 months?
It takes more than 6 months to review a single movie or talk about something you love?
Well, like I said, we do talk about stuff we love.
Do they meet like once a week?
Like I said, if you want to look up movie reviews, I do them regularly.
On your podcast?
Yes.
My wife thinks it's weird that I want to go see Are You There?
Well, let's look at the fandom initiative.
I loved the book when I was a kid. I didn't know what I was getting into.
This is the main channel. It's your channel. Your main channel. I honestly don't give a shit because my issue is pretending like you're ambassadors of
this
fandom.
Guy knows he's lost.
And then only covering
he has been constantly on the ropes.
Literally other people. Where's ISOM? What does that have to do with anything? It's all in. Okay, the Fandom Menace. If you're subscribed to one channel, you could probably say you'd know the opinions of the rest of them, right?
Well, sure.
Can I say the same about this group?
We say the same things, but we're different people with different opinions.
Seeing these guys dunk on for the fools they actually are. And number two, like, you do understand that's kind of what brought Dane and myself and Turk together,
here
right?
you go, dude. Just admit it.
Then why are you
say, okay, well, we talk about the other stuff on this channel, but this one, we really do like to go after these guys. We have found our bread and freaking butter. We get tons of views on this, and we're probably going to keep going at it because of that. That doesn't mean that your points are any less valid. I mean, none of your points are valid, but just freaking man up. I mean, that's the worst thing here.
Selling it as ambassadors of fandom.
Own it.
I mean, we have a giant Discord where we allow.
Whenever I hear somebody back in the day, they would try to call me out by saying, he just does it for the clicks and views.
But it takes you 6 months to cover anything that's related to fandom whatsoever.
Of course I do.
Because my biggest problem
here jealous of all the
isn't.
I don't remember exactly, but like you still passed the
yes, I am.
Yeah, sit on my face right there. Sit on my face was essentially us talking about our opinions on Mandalorian season 3.
Okay, so 1 out of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we formed the initiative because we all kind of covered similar topics. And then we're going more into
this guy. This guy has none of. I'm going to guess none of them, but this guy is giving us the proof. There's an old saying: better to let the world think you're ignorant than to open your mouth and prove them right. And this guy is proving everybody right. He is saying, well, we just noticed that we didn't like these guys over here and what they're doing. So we made up this Phantom Menace thing, or we made up the Fandom Initiative to talk about them. Yeah, guess how freaking Comicsgate formed, you dumbass? Good Lord in heaven. Exactly the same thing. Captain Frugal and Captain Cummings. I saw them on a channel once. They were doing a live stream. Howler Mouse had done a couple of videos, and they were talking about how identity politics creeped into comics. So I checked it out, and I was like, "Holy crap!" At the time, Eglantine, it was the Grove of Eglantine. That was the name of this, and I was talking about anything. But after that, I started, okay, wait a second. I want to look into this. I started making videos about how wokeism, of course, back then it was just social justice warriors, were creeping into comics. And then one day, Captain Cummings and I put out a video on the same video from Nerdstalgic or something like that. And we, up to a halfway point, we said exactly the same thing, and then we verged off. And I thought it was funny. So I made a video. It was called We're Not the Same Person, and it included diversity in comics. Now your boy Zach, Captain Cummings, and myself. And I included Captain Frugal into the thing. And I said, okay, guys, who else do you know that has this opinion about comics? Put it in the comment section. And everybody, by the way, Doug Ernst, you got to get Doug Ernst in on this. And boom, Comicsgate was freaking formed. The same way as these jackasses, but these jackasses call us out as if we did something wrong. And this guy who Tristan has called so many times out for his arrogance, his feeling of moral superiority, it is absolutely ridiculous. Sit down and talk to us. You know what? I should reach out and get an interview with them as well.
Yeah, our fandoms. Yeah, this is...
Out of curiosity, what does
says these
Ron
DeSantis
DeSantis,
of gatekeepers, watered down,
who I've covered on my channel, but I've never claimed to be an ambassador of fandom, what does he have to do with comic books or comic book movies or Star Wars?
Ron DeSantis, well, I mean, he's a major political figure. He has power, and he was one of the ones who's been seriously pushing about making woke illegal and stuff like that. So
this is where woke comes to die. Okay, first of all, he's not making wokeism illegal.
Making woke
what he's making illegal is
that's been like his
children.
big campaigning.
This thing they call the anti-gay bill is actually the anti-don't talk about and don't try to tell somebody their own sexuality bill. Doesn't matter if you're straight or gay, keep that shit out of the classroom and teach math, teach reading, teach whatever. That's the bill. It never says don't say gay. And as a matter of fact, it tells everyone, not just gay people, don't freaking bring your sexual escapades, and definitely don't teach them to kids. By the way, 5 to 8. That's it. Okay, let me get this super chat here. Ronald Rugg says, hey, in the hospital, England. Oh, shit. In rough shape with the RSV pneumonia, but thanks for all the comic from last auction. They've been holding me over. Oh, dude. Oh, I forgot. Apparently, this didn't, the Nightcrawler miniseries didn't get on your list, dude. I apologize. I missed it. I actually almost tried to sold it again last night, but Trusty stopped me. I'll try to get it to you. Dude, please take care of yourself. Look, some people say this is wrong. I think they're full of shit, but dude, thoughts and prayers, and please, everybody, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Good. When I was down, well wishes picked me right up, and we're all on your side there, Ron. We're all on your side here. This is a great community of people. I've always loved it. I know I got shadow banned, but you know what? The people who've stuck around, just absolutely fantastic. And we are all on your side. We want you to have a good and hopefully quick recovery, man. Take it easy and enjoy those comics. And once again, thank you very much for the super chat. Let's see. This guy isn't talking. Isn't much to talk about. He's just doing this to be an edgelord. I started watching this, and like I said, 5 minutes in, I thought, you know what? I've got my own things to say about it, and I think Nerdette was kicking ass. So I figured if I'm going to watch it, might as well make content out of it. Nerdette saying, oh my God, hope Ronald Rugg gets well soon. Captain Frugal says, focus on what kids needs to learn in school about the other thing. Man of Action sending well wishes to Ronald. Captain Frugal's saying he'll pray for Ronald. And you know what? I believe him. Take care, says Shane to Ronald. And thoughts and prayers, man, says Robert Willing. Another good guy, by the way. Get well soon, says Dark Admiral. And let's see, there you go. StreamYard vanished. It's back. Okay. Yeah, actually, sometimes I do roll, but there you go. Are we good to go? Can everybody hear and see? I'm kind of worried about that when I hear the StreamYard vanished. It looks like everything's good to go. All right. And there we go. Let's start it back up.
He's an idiot. We agree to that.
Yeah, no.
I don't
He's where
agree.
the woke goes to die or whatever.
Yeah, he is an idiot. But
that has nothing to do with what you guys have sold this channel on.
He's a great freaking governor.
And even so much more, you go in your mission statement and you flash clips of Trump when talking, like in a very subliminal way. You flash clips of Trump talking and say kind of like this guy or exactly like this guy when talking about these YouTubers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Don't you see how that's a little manipulative and then claim they're the manipulative ones?
Like, and they're Trump supporters. And didn't he try to...
I don't care who they support. I don't care about them. And I'm sure they do. This is the problem I have with all of you guys. Is you guys claim to be these ambassadors of fandoms, you and the Jeremy Griggs of the world. And none of you are talking about it. They're at least talking about why it's bad. You're not even talking about why it's bad. You're talking about them.
Well, like I said, you can look up my podcast. I mean, just because you don't want to look it up because it doesn't have enough views, fine, but it's there. You're allowed to look at it. It's right there.
But that's your podcast. That's not the Fandom Initiative channel that you sold on Fandom.
Yes, and we're still building it up. Like, you do understand this type of thing takes time, right?
Once again, it
doesn't take 6 months to do something like that.
A day to make
I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Edited video.
I mean,
like the first day I introduced my channel,
CG went from
I did a video on Heroes in Crisis, I believe it was.
Yeah, that is true. That happened quite a bit.
It doesn't take that. That's a really.
I mean, if you're talking about the history of the channel, yeah, I covered lots of stuff, and my first edit video was on Man of Steel.
Yeah, that's why I said what happened in the beginning.
Click views, baby.
If you want to know what happened, was I started covering these guys.
They started chasing the clout.
I realized how bad it is, because initially my thought was, oh, okay, I'll just look at like bad critics and kind of dunk on them.
They figured, you know what, this is the way we're getting views.
I did not treat this seriously whatsoever when I dove into it, and then I found people took these critics or so-called critics very seriously. Like, it was almost tribalistic the way people acted around them, and that's when I realized this is a serious problem.
Guy has no self-awareness.
Allowing
no self-awareness.
Based on outrage clicks. People will click
you know what?
on a video that
I would love to see 2 words be brought back, because a lot of people are not engaging with these 2 words. You hear people, oh, well, I'm offended because of this. I'm offended because of that. They said this, and you know what that means? You know what we need to bring back? So what? Oh, I got offended. So what? That guy said this thing I didn't like. So what? Look, we're supposed to be a free country, and freedom is messy. And freedom sometimes means you got to hear from someone that you don't like. Frickin' hell. So what is what we need to bring
that
back.
Gets them, you know, like you have people hate watching and people love watching these people, and it gets them tons and tons of clicks.
See how it works?
YouTube just circulates them around because it makes them money.
Yes. So what?
Hold on. Let me ask a question. Do you think your morality is the only one that works?
Ooh, I see where you're going
Where's
with
that
this.
coming from?
I see where you're going
because
with
you
this.
said what a problem it was. All these other YouTubers and YouTube. The words you used was YouTube is
allowing it to happen. Yes.
Yeah, YouTube is allowing the spread of bigotry and misinformation.
And he's against that.
So you think they should be deplatformed?
I don't know if I would say that, but I definitely think
just said that
deprioritized in the algorithm for sure.
Holy crap! Yo, okay, he just said what he just said was, well, I won't say I want them to be banned, but I would be okay with shadow banned. Look what it's doing to I Love Comics. Oh wait, no, I never heard of them. Yeah, okay, I put it in the last.
Information or bigotry is an issue?
Of course, but I don't get to decide. My morality is not superior to anyone. Everybody has equality here.
That's the thing. Like, you're hitting on it. So I don't know the exact solution to this situation. All I know is that these guys are a problem.
No,
but if you're asking me the exact solution, I have no idea.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? We just a few minutes ago, we talked about how the fandom menace just blasted Prey over a reason I think is bullshit. Okay? I love the movie, by the way. And here's the thing. Fandom Menace just went after it. Now, I joke around that they are Fandom Menace is a shopping cart with a broken wheel that's always going to steer in the same direction no matter what, okay? But here's the thing, that it is not a problem, because if you don't like them, turn it off. Nothing the Fandom Menace has ever said has changed my opinion about a movie. They don't like a lot of the stuff. They don't like Predator or Prey. Didn't change the fact that I did. If you're allowing them to, oh my gosh, that affected me, that's on you, dude.
Yeah, I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for them having a platform and saying their stuff. But like, this is a problem, and
it's not a
right
problem.
Now. My only option is to call it out, because that's the only power I have. So that's what I'm
good.
doing.
Okay, see, that's your It's okay.
What do you think of
the? But it is his channel.
What do you think of the idea of if you don't like it, don't watch it?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Tristan. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Whatever happened to let them dig their own grave? Why is it people seem to stop believing their words are so stupid it'll make them look bad on
why are you wasting your time?
And also Ron Ruggs,
like, I understand it's entertainment. I do the same thing from time to time.
I mean,
but if you want to build up your channel on right now, you've made your channel, to begin with. And I went through some of your old videos. The quality is there. They're good videos. You can tell you're a fan. The problem is that it feels like you've descended into this political activist to a point where the fandom is secondary to the outrage.
Yes.
Well, to be blunt,
just recently we did a live stream. It was Jay Lucian who said something on a DM where he mentioned the culture war, the way it's played out. You have Comicsgate doing their thing, and you have the creators doing their thing, and they seem to be going after each other, and the only real losers are the readers. We're not getting great comics anymore by either side. And it seems like the people that they care less about more and more are the people who are supposedly buying the books. And this is happening here. It's like, instead of the viewers being somebody to look upon and go, well, thank you very much. Man of Action, Ronald Rugg, Robert Willing, Nerdette, everybody in the chat here that I can't see, Shane and all. Thank you very, very much for taking your time to listen to this. But these two sides and these guys right here, I'm going to say it, they seem to be taking advantage of that. The viewer is the commodity rather than the people they want to share things with. All right, I'm sorry. Let me get this going.
All that's happened is I realized how bad this was on YouTube, because for years I knew these guys existed, but I always thought they were just a joke. Like, it's like, oh, they're screaming about being woke. Woke doesn't mean ha ha ha. And then suddenly I do a couple videos pointing this out, and all of a sudden I get like these seas and waves of people calling me all types of things. And I realize this is a serious problem. YouTube is pushing this stuff, and or the algorithm is pushing this stuff. And like I said, I don't know the exact solution, but I do know it needs called out. Something needs addressed. I don't know what it is. Like, you know, when I talk about misinformation,
Robert
you know,
Williams saying I strongly argue and feels DC is doing well. I agree. By the way,
what information specifically?
Passing language, and
it bugs you.
Absolutely right. There are
like okay. There's a difference between like misinformation and then, you know, I guess disinformation, something that's a little bit more malicious. There have been plenty of times where I've come on my channel and I've been like, hey, there's this scoop here, or this happened, or here's this news. And I'm like, 2 videos later, I'm like, hey guys, I fucked up. It wasn't a reliable source. This happened.
Nerdette's got a potty mouth.
That was technically me spreading misinformation, right?
Well, I mean, that's good, but you corrected the record.
Stuff that's bad is really bad, but it's like...
So as long as they correct the record, really you're okay?
Yeah, listen, if they were spreading misinformation, then like like a video or 2 later said, fuck, I fucked up, guys. I'm sorry. Here's the correct record.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Then,
and I think that's fair.
Based on their part.
The fact that nobody...
and I agree. But... I want to know what kind of misinformation you're specifically talking about. That's kind of where I'm at here.
Okay, I didn't come up with a list ready to go, but
no, but just I mean, you've done it a lot. Give me a couple, like just a couple examples, because I think you're equating misinformation into information that I don't necessarily agree with. When because a lot of what I saw is opinion based.
All right. So, how about, so we already brought up, so it's fresh in my mind. How about the fact that anytime a woman or a minority is cast in a role you may not expect, it's always called diversity hire.
It's always...
Okay, when a black person is hired to, a black actor is hired to do a role that you do not expect, are you talking about race swapping? Why do people get upset? Because they're race swapping. And you're a racist for not being against it. How about we throw that out there? Since they like to call you an ist and you're a bigot and so forth and so on. Dude, if you don't want original African fables brought to Disney instead of race swapping Ariel, you're a bigot. Because the way you think by your words is that the only way black people can be successful is if they ride the coattails of white characters and white people. And that, my friend, is truly racist. Freaking idiot. All right, let me continue.
Hire is a pejorative, right? That's what you would, I mean, I would say that's more of somebody being an asshole. We don't know.
Well, I mean, they are unrelated. I would use class holes.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, generally, yes, you're an asshole.
But I also am, I unfortunately pro free speech to a fault, maybe. And maybe
normally I say argue the point, not the person. And I think the point here is this guy really is an ass. I don't know about anything Lilo and Stitch. What it was is this Hawaiian girl got hired to play the older sister in the Lilo and Stitch movie, but she is not dark enough.
That's where the disconnect is here. Where I think I would rather, let me ask you this. Wouldn't you rather know who the assholes are?
Yeah, no, like there is that to a degree.
Is the best.
But when I see somebody come back, oh, hey. Yeah,
like
social media, what I've seen, essentially, like what these people have done is found online places to all propagate, and then all of a sudden they think their views are the correct ones, and they push those hard. And if you dare to pierce that bubble, oh boy, you're gonna get a whole bunch of hate coming your way for simply correcting the record.
Sure, and it sucks, and I've been there, but I also know those are those people's opinion, and that's maybe where I see the disconnect. You guys had like a thing to fill out if you'd ever been. It was super weird, like collecting information if you've ever been bullied by the fandom menace.
Yeah.
Isn't that a little like overstepping? These are just actually, you know what? This is a better question. Do you think that they are responsible for their audience?
Ooh, good question. First of all, I agree with you. Them asking for, if you've been bullied by them, saying, we need content. Please give us content. That's the question that they were saying. Apparently, I'm roboting, and I apologize if it continued. Let's see. Most people don't. Only weirdos care about certain people or dark. Yeah, it's weird, that whole argument. Some enclosed on Twitter are upset. Okay, we're talking about that again. Ron Rugg saying, yeah, I have no problem with new characters representing a minority, but to cast someone as an existing character role that is literally the wrong it's not representation, it's presentation. It's saying, hey, look, guys, a black person. Well, here's a message for Bob and his friends. I live in the South. We're very diverse here. I've seen black people do things. Okay, I don't treat every black person who farts like it's something I need to put up on the fridge. I'm not amazed. Okay, seen it, done that, bought the t-shirt. You are? Okay, fine. You know what? We don't need the presentation. If you want actual representation, you do the original stories. You do the original characters. There are so many comic book characters out there that have not been put into movies that you can actually have representation on. Okay, let me fast forward. Okay, let me...
audience control is a kind of a nebulous thing. I do think a lot of them drive their audience because I've seen it happen.
Draw their audience?
So, like, do they have 100% control of their audience? Absolutely not. But do some of them weaponize their audience? Absolutely.
Right, and I would say the Ethan Van Skywers of the world know how to weaponize their audience. But I can't say that I've ever seen many of them. Like, I've specifically, and all of the people in the chat will know, I don't like the quartering, got no love for him, cannot stand him as a content creator. The only thing I respect is when he like, he'll be like, okay, this YouTuber got demonetized, go check him out. They got deplatformed, something along those lines. That's cool, but the rest, people will know. He specifically, many times I have heard him say, do not send hate to this person.
Oh, he says that every time.
So why is it his fault?
Don't go over there. Don't go over there. I think
when
it's ridiculous
you get comments for correcting him.
You guys are adults. You should know. Don't harass people.
Okay, so the quartering is actually somebody I'm less familiar with.
It seems like you're not familiar with anything, Bob.
He's kind of dreadfully boring. I will out of curiosity, like, would you equate like what we do to the quartering at all?
Would I equate what?
Well, not in quartering. Quartering talks about news. These guys from what
I can stand your content.
Talks about
excellent.
Talks about the quartering.
But in the same sentence, he covers news at Marvel, whereas you don't.
Shane Nolan says,
I've seen him cover, even if he's misleading,
African mythology,
because everything can be misleading, right? You can say that this was we had Guardians of Galaxy kind of underperform. It's not bad. It's not like they're making it out to be.
It's drop off,
but framing it like they're making it like it's a go broke, bro, type of thing.
They do every time.
They can frame it that way because it underperformed a little bit, and you can. And I've seen you guys frame it that it's the second best of this year or something.
Yeah, it literally.
You know what I'm saying?
It literally had the third best second weekend of the MCU ever.
Right, and it's in that.
Take care, Ron. Be safe. Hope you get better quick, dude. Into Disguise saying when you race swap, you're yelling everyone that you're not going to follow the canon of the IP. It's a red flag. You're just hijacking the IP to tell your own tragic story, kind of like a lot of modern day comic book.
That's great. That movie was great. It deserves it.
Oh yeah,
but you both frame things in how you want your narrative spun. You see what I'm saying?
So Sure, but like, what essentially they're like, I think, well, Guardians, I don't think is going to be a flop whatsoever. But let's go to something else they called a flop. Avatar 2. They were calling Avatar 2
That
a
is
flop.
true.
And that
before it opened and for the first few weeks, they kept calling Avatar 2 a flop because it needed to make $2 million. But that is not exactly the whole story. What ended up or $2 billion, excuse me. It had to make that. But the whole story is that the technology used to film Avatar 2 was actually for Avatar 2, 3, and 4. So they needed to make $2 billion within these 3 movies. And so every time the grosses would come out, Avatar 2 is a flop, which no, as we saw, no, it wasn't.
That movie overperformed massively.
I've never seen Avatar 1, so I don't know. Okay, well, but I'll take your word for it. I do remember something along that lines happening. Yeah. But that's also what I think most of the people know, especially I would say the most nefarious one is probably Yellow Flash. Oh my God, this is so bad. Yeah. It failed already. And then once it performs well, it's like, got those wokies. Like, it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Actually, like, I guess to clear up our position when it comes to box office stuff, like our position is like, okay, here's the numbers. It looks okay, you know, it's looking fine. Whereas they're call it a flop usually before it even comes out, which
for sure.
Yellow Flash is the dude that had a drunken rant about me and kept calling me out wanting to do something called blood sports.
See, like, probably the clearest flop we had recently was Shazam 2.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Was pretty much a fairly objective flop. But a lot of the other stuff is kind of like, I don't know if I'd call it a flop.
By the way,
they're using what I mentioned earlier, and that's emotionally charged languages. It's exactly what you do, but their demographic is black-pilled people, whereas yours is leftist. So there is a difference there, right? But you're doing the same thing.
Yes.
So again, like, essentially they're calling things flops before we have any chance to know that they're a flop, and we're essentially saying, here's the statistics we know. You know, and if you want to talk about like thumbnails,
too many films
like that,
using race swap and calling anyone who doesn't like it as racist as in a disguise. Unfortunately, they announced that instead of story too. Literally, Nerdette came out with a video yesterday.
For sure.
That being said,
a disaster. Season 2 doesn't come out for another year. I know, it's ridiculous.
All we do when we analyze it is to actually look at the numbers. Like, hey, this is how this is doing. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I think was like the 3rd or 2nd biggest February opening of all time.
Still a flop.
Now, of course, these guys aren't going to talk about that.
Okay, it had a
of course not, because you can frame everything for your narrative.
It flopped. It was too big.
And I don't even have an issue with that. Again, my main issue lies with you guys with the idea of this fandom initiative, because I thought it was a good idea and you guys dropped the ball so hard. It's not even about fandom. It's a cookie cutter of your other channels. It's dunking on chuds or whatever you want to say. It's not about fandom. It was never about fandom.
Okay, so, I mean, that seems to be the crux of the whole conversation, that you are just not really happy with exactly the content we cover on the Initiative channel.
It seems like they're doing it backwards. They should be doing the comic book stuff on Fandom Initiative, and on their own videos doing the stuff where they're going after people, since they're calling it the Fandom Initiative and calling everybody who calls out the way that characters are being written poorly anti-fans.
But also understand the Initiative was essentially Dane, myself, and Turf coming together, and essentially our goal was to kind of do like a stream where we cover a lot of this stuff that we've already covered, Yeah, and I mean, an argument can be made. It's about fandom because we're pointing out a lot of the faulty arguments these guys do when they're attacking this stuff.
Okay, so we did a lot of attack videos when we were Comics Gators, but the thing is the videos we did were actually aimed at people who made comics. They're aiming it at other YouTubers.
So, I mean, you could definitely argue it's about the fandom.
I also have an issue with you thinking people are so dumb. Like, there was one part in your there was one part in your mission statement video, and I took a lot from that simply because I didn't want to like feel like I was attacking all of your content, right? I didn't want you to think that I was attacking everything that you had to say. But you say in the video, the people who watch this content are getting trained to believe. These people have their own minds. Those people, a lot of the times, pick that content because they agree with them.
All right. So, do you want to know the number of, I'll be blunt. A lot of these people absolutely just regurgitate the things these guys say. Do you know?
By the way, I actually called people out for leaving comments on my videos where they just absolutely quoted Diversity in Comics or Doug Ernst or Captain Cummings. I want to hear your thoughts. I watch their videos, so I want to hear your thoughts. I don't want to hear Gary's thought. I want to hear. That's the thing. And that's always been a thing with me. I do know that sometimes people do just, but he also is making a lot of assumptions. So,
you know how many people I've had to block in my comments who just talk about Tyrone? Do you know about that situation?
Is that a Marvel?
That was pretty good in 3D.
No.
I liked
okay,
it.
So you don't know about that situation. So after my discussion with July, which was very pleasant and very nice, he went on for 2 hours and talked about how I don't have any contact with my kids and how Tyrone is raising my kids. That is what he said.
If that is true,
so
that is
I got
horrible.
Literally thousands of comments. Well, I don't know if there are thousands specifically about Tyrone, but like at least hundreds talking about Tyrone. Just say, hey, how's Tyrone? Hey, you should pay attention to your kids. Crap like that. Yeah, no, it was awful, but this is that's kind of their tactic. I mean, Eric July after that 100% called me a groomer, and and essentially accused me of being an absent father.
That's fucking ridiculous.
That's true. I agree. That is absolutely bad. Leave families out of it. You got something to say about me? Hey, okay, go about it. Tell me what you think. I put myself out there. Leave families out of it.
That's fucking ridiculous. But that doesn't mean that they didn't. Okay, here's the issue: is they're playing my sports or my side versus your side, right? And this is why I'm pro free speech, because of what you just said. You knew all those people were asshats very easily. Yeah. It was easy to block them. And it was, and it sucks.
Yeah, no, I did block a lot of them. But the whole point is that he essentially told them the narrative and they just ran with it straight to my channel.
But that's on them, not
okay.
Saying they.
So you're saying that.
Influence over him.
Of course, that's why it's called influencer.
Yes.
That makes the audience dumb, right? That's why I'm totally on board with debunking. I love the fact
when you hear like the left talk about a right-wing black person, they talk about how they were brainwashed or they were paid, or worse, the worst term I've ever heard, the black face of white supremacy. Get bent.
Out insulting because you look. I am not a person to talk about class. I have the mouth of a sailor, but
it's fine. So do I.
It's an issue of if you debunk the idea, not the person. You're going to cause
argue the point, not the person. Good job there.
Animosity. and you get more flies with honey than with vinegar, right? And the way that you guys are going about this is just throwing vinegar all over the place. You're not going to change any hearts and mind by making these videos. And I know I'm a hypocrite. I know I am.
If you want to say we need to do a bit more diversity of tactics, then I am in 100% agreement.
Not only that, but I think you guys have a good idea. I think you do.
Yeah.
I think there's an idea there underneath this. But claiming that YouTubers are causing
tries to get in there,
physical violence out there in the real world without any actual evidence of doing such. Claiming that the audience is kind of maybe not the smartest. Well, I can say it because I'm not claiming to be a ambassador of fandom, claiming that they're fucking stupid. Yeah, I don't think they are. I think I've had a lot of good conversations. I have a lot of right-wingers on my channel. Mind you, I respect.
Okay, I've got to give Tristan some more credit here. On a couple of live streams recently, I have mentioned that there seems to be no right wing. There is the extreme right, there's the alt-right, but nobody ever just says, oh, they're a right-winger. Thank you very much there, Tristan. Never assume you're smarter than your audience. The audience has direct access to the internet. Just saying.
I respect their religion. I respect their ideas. And I do think that they also have come to understand mine. And that's the difference here. You got to have conversations with people that don't just agree with you. You got to have the conversations that are kind of hard sometimes.
So
you got to understand, even if you go back to,
I'm sure,
conversations.
Huh?
Oh, good Lord.
I mean, I'm a little confused because open to conversations, even if people disagree with me.
Then start having them. Then start learning from people that you disagree with, that they're not just all bigots. Do you understand? Here is the idea of.
Because part of when I stumbled into this, part of it, there was a part of me going, God, is there any validity to these guys' arguments? Anything at all? Is there anything where
there
I
is sometimes?
Not a whole lot, maybe occasionally, but when 99% of it's bigotry, it doesn't really.
99.
Okay, hold on. Let me give you an example.
I disagree with them a lot.
I had a really great guest on named Chillmonger. And he was talking about representation.
Yeah,
I've always been, or for at least the last few years, been pro-representation. I think it's a good thing out there. But he hates race swaps. Because it's temporary representation. It always goes back to white, right? It always goes back to white. We got Little Mermaid now. She'll go back to white eventually. Got this, it'll go back to white. I understand why Black people don't want hand-me-down characters. But you would look at that as bigoted.
Tokenism.
It's okay to have both opinions.
Okay, so again, if it kind of depends on the context. That by itself, I actually don't it's not a view I agree with, but I don't know if I'd call that bigoted by itself.
So the issue is temporary representation. That's what I'm telling you. T'Challa not being recast when they recast a white actor. When you get
that was actually kind of funny because they started yelling about that after the film had already been shot. It was it's not happening, guys.
No, it wasn't going to happen. But that they started a long time ago.
Well, okay, yeah. The whole thing is that I think that they're getting to here is that it's never in the other direction. And that's the thing. And T'Challa is always used because Black Panther wasn't just a movie. It was a cultural movement for a large part of the Black audience. All right, let's continue. Oh, hold on. I love Sam as the Falcon. Does that make me a bad person? Not even a little bit. It makes other people racist if they don't want Sam to remain the Falcon. That's what we're learning from Bob today.
There's been especially Chillmonger has been very at the very forefront, made hundreds of, not hundreds, I'm being hyperbolic, but been at the forefront of recasting T'Challa because that is a great male lead. That is the best black, and that was a cultural phenomenon that they decided to push to the side, right? They decided to, instead of recasting, go to Shuri, and I'm sure it'll go back to status quo. We'll get little T'Challa, and that's fine.
She's not.
But the issue is those kind of opinions should be welcome too if you want to represent fandom. Those kind, some black people don't want hand-me-downs.
All right, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that by itself isn't enough for me to really call out anybody, because I think I watched a video from people essentially saying that, and I was like, I can understand that. I don't really agree, but I understand where you're coming from. Because I know there's been, you can talk about how maybe black people don't want hand-me-downs, but I've also seen black people who love stuff like that. So at the end of the day, that type of stuff seems kind of like a wash to me.
So let me ask you a question. Because
I've come to appreciate, now, once again, I've debated Tristan a couple of times. She got me once. Savor the flavor. It don't happen very often, Tristan. But I'm loving the fact that when you're listening, and you can tell you're really listening to what he's saying, because he'll say something stupid and you'll go, let me ask you a question. So, yeah, I like that, because there's a punch that's about to be thrown.
I don't know how familiar you are with me, but I started off in Comicscape.
Mm-hmm.
I claim temporary insanity.
No, that was temporary sanity.
Or actually, here's the thing. It meant something different back then, right? It was about quality and professionalism, where now it's just about women are bad. Okay. I'm being a bit over dramatic, but
I was kind of pro Gamergate when that first started too. So
so you can understand
we as we go. Yeah.
But that learning process is something that we all need to go through, right? We all need to understand that we can change. So would you say 4 years is enough for a change? You think somebody could change in 4 years, right?
Yes, that should be the answer. Yes.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but
let me also point something out. You see the way he looked? The answer is yes. People can change in 4 years. But this disingenuous dumbbell here is trying to figure out where Tristan is going with this conversation. He's trying to head her off at the pass. And that's the disingenuous part. Just give us your answer and let's get going to the next point. I do think Bob is a bit sincere, if misguided, unlike AF, says Michael Hart. Alrighty. This is all I'm familiar with as far as organized chaos. So all my opinion, just to be 100% open, is based on what he's saying here. Calling anyone a bigot, racist, homophobe is done so you could dismiss the person. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Why is it a gotcha to put a video of Eric July from 4 years ago saying he liked Miles Morales, when clearly he's not even reading comics now, and that was some sort of big deal?
Well, don't you think it's interesting how his position has changed pretty drastically since then?
I think he's probably it looks like he's given up everything media related.
Well, I mean, his position changed about the time he got a job at the Blaze.
I have no idea when he started.
Sorry, dude, he got the job.
See, here's the thing. I don't care
because of what you've got it backwards. Also for 100% openness here, I've called out Eric July for being disingenuous so many times. Because of the way he does movie reviews and comic reviews and such, where he won't give his opinion, but he'll talk about someone else's opinion.
My heart lies with comics, video games, the media that you guys are saying that you love and you want to put out there. I don't give a shit about Eric July and when he started the Blaze. I'm saying in 4 years, somebody's opinion could change.
Yes.
And now he's doing his own thing. And whether or not you like him or not, and I have had a debate with Eric July, we are fine now, but we clearly don't have love for each other, right? But
okay, I mean,
he successfully crowdfunded a campaign.
3 million.
He did his own thing.
Good on him.
He's in his own bubble. And you guys are going, where's ISOM 2? Where's this? Where's that? Where's that? There's not, this is what I don't get.
Well, I mean,
why not? Why aren't you reviewing comic books that are coming out now instead of talking about where's ISOM 2?
Well, I mean, part of our point is to point out.
Was ISOM 2 already supposed to be out?
Do you think ISOM sold because it was a comic book that people really wanted?
Yes.
No, I think it was YouTuber merch.
It could be as well. But, okay, you could say that he might not have been, if he didn't have a huge YouTube channel, he wouldn't have sold as many as he did. But I have been Comicsgate adjacent enough to know that people truly do look forward to these comics being produced. Now, does it make a difference to have a huge YouTube channel where you're talking to a whole bunch of people and they like you as a person? Hells to the yeah, brother. Abso-freaking-lutely. No freaking way does Eric July make $3 million on his first book without everybody knowing him from YouTube. But hey, guess what? He used the tools available to him. If you have I don't know how, I'm going to assume over 200,000 subs for Eric July. I don't know. But if you have an audience that big, you use it as the fucking advertisement, especially since everybody you're talking to is on your goddamn side that they're going to help you out.
Yeah,
I think some people wanted it.
People like there, I'm sure there were, but it was primarily people buying into whatever, like an ideology that Eric July is preaching, whatever. That's what ISOM really was at the end of the day. And like I've said this before, if all Eric July did was make ISOM and talk about ISOM, more power to him. Great, that's wonderful. You know, he got a comic book, it sold a whole book. Good for him. That's good for him. But like, that is not what he does on his YouTube. Like, if you want to talk about saying terrible stuff on YouTube, like, look at his YouTube channel. It is atrocious. He went after trans people just for that trans flag scene, and pretty much any opportunity he gets, he does. He throws around homophobic slurs like nobody's business. Like, he's
really, I've never heard him
bad.
say that.
Here's the thing. Here's what this all comes back to. Freedom of speech lets me know that he is a douchebag, and I don't want anything to do with him. And why would I think his opinions when he is not even consuming the media? Like when he defended Ryan Cannell, right?
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That was really silly to me because he hadn't even seen the movie.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. But
he's the worst of them.
He's allowed to be a fan in his way, just like you're allowed to be a fan in your way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why, if you're making this ambassador of fandom, why you're not actually fucking caring about the fans.
You know, the thing is this is, I think, the fourth time you brought this up, and he has not really addressed it once. He says fruit and gay. Really? That's bad now? Gay is bad? You know what? I'm done. I was done a long time ago. I'm not coddling anybody at all. Everybody's equal. It's just that, man, let's bring it back to the 80s where everybody knew they were different and kind of liked it. We were friends. Didn't matter, but we could say stuff. There's a reason why there's a movie called White Men Can't Jump, because we make fun of that. And the fact that all the black people could play, yeah, we made fun of that too. We knew we were different. Goodness gracious. I went over to Tristan's channel once, and I mentioned that we ended racism. We did. This generation brought it back. And there was a lot of comments. Oh, bullshit. I can't believe he said that. And the thing is, and to the point that Tristan is making, we didn't mind the people who were racist to say the racist things because we knew where they were then. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And when we knew where they were, we could tell them, out of the sandbox. You can't play well with others, get out of the sandbox. We made sure that they understood that it was bad. Nowadays, people are fighting for segregation. And there is actually a movement that says the only way to get past racism in the past is to have modern day racism. No, it's all racist. It's all racism, and it's bad. I'm going to continue here.
Why? Like, why do you think we're not caring about the fans?
Have a good one, Tabby.
Because you don't
take care. Be safe, man.
This is the.
So, like,
again, I think it's a good idea. I feel like I keep coming back to this. Yeah, they had a good idea.
I feel like you feel like the only way to support fandom is to talk about stuff we love exclusively.
She did not say that, you disingenuous prick.
What?
I feel like you seem to be proposing the only way to support fandom is to talk about stuff we love exclusively.
No.
What she said was,
I talk about stuff I hate all the time.
Bad, and you talk about the good. Hey, this.
But you're not talking about anything.
So read this book.
But Eric July and Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to go to the podcast, that's fine. If you're gonna just stick to my main channel, then yeah, like I said, I'm starting a new series called Celebrating Fandom, where we're just gonna be. I mean, that series is gonna take longer to do. It's a lot easier to do a video like exposing these guys for their bigotry or their misinformation than it is to do an essay. But yeah, I'm going to start doing that, and we're going to start doing more stuff on the initiative. So, like, if you're looking for that type of content, it's coming.
Okay. I just don't see the point of doxing people, of calling people racist slurs, and then
like
pretending to be
pro
fandom, like all in the same sense. I think it's really like it's really hypocritical. And I was
talk about a subject
rooting for your guys. And honestly, what I think is, if there is any like this massive political ideology on both sides, completely has tainted fandom in society right now. Because if there is a race swap, you guys are like, yay, race swap, look, representation. And if there's a race swap, they're like, oh my God, it's woke. It's always.
That is a cruel thing you just did, Davis Sanowitz. I'm calling you out, dude. I got that song stuck in my freaking head now. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. This guy hates July and just spouting nonsense to slander him, says in a disguise. And Undead Quinn saying his quote debate is just based on racism and bigotry, and yet he defends calling black man slurred to. I haven't heard it. Did we miss that? Is that coming up?
It's the same thing with you guys, and it's so predictable.
Okay, so I mean, you support. I mean, do you support diversity and inclusion and stuff like that?
Oh dear Lord.
Yes.
Okay, I mean that's good. So do we?
Oh my gosh.
Like lots of times when we're talking about lots of the swaps and stuff like that, however you want to phrase it,
race swaps.
For me,
that's good.
You know, you just have to see what the final product is. Like if
they
do it and it sucks, typically the reason why it sucks has nothing to do with them doing anything like that. Though it might have to do with writing or something like that.
Sure, and I can agree to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I kind of hate that we're having any disagreements because I feel like there might be a lot. I feel like we probably have more agreements than disagreements overall.
Right, and I agree.
Yeah, essentially, I mean, yeah, you could argue they're using their freedom of speech to talk stuff their way. Absolutely, sure. But then, like, I also have my freedom of speech that I can use to call out the stuff they're doing.
For sure, and again, I don't disagree with that. What I disagree with is the advocation for fan.
I'm going to bring somebody up. I see it. This guy's voice annoys me more than RDV says Cinema Quirks. I'm not believing you. But he does sort of sound, for the young people, you're going to have to look this up. He does sound like a younger version of Paul Harvey. And Comic Frog is saying we can't talk about Eric until July, and I don't know understand if he means Eric July or Eric Breen.
Fandoms that you guys clearly don't give a shit about. Like, I'm not saying you don't in your personal life, but the problem is you're just as guilty as them. You're using the idea of outrage to sell a brand. You're using the idea of your politics versus their politics, whereas they're bigots, so I've got the moral high ground. I don't know all the answers. I'll never know all the answers.
No,
I can only believe in being a decent person and live and let live.
The only person I know,
but I will never tell you you're. Yeah, I'll probably call you a bigot or an asshole or something like that. But the thing is I don't know the answers, and we can't.
No, none of us do.
But you pretend like you do. Just by calling them political rumors, you're pretending like you do.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, they do target lots of teenagers with their
what?
Their stuff, and that is an issue.
They target teenagers? I have never heard that before.
Yeah, no, that'd be their primary audience.
No.
Oh, you can't be serious.
I love that. By the way, Tris is like, you can't be serious. First of all, comic books, sci-fi, the geek culture targets teenage audiences. And by the way, if you're dumb enough to think, but what about women? Of course, there's going to be some women that come in, but it has always been targeted by teenagers, teenage boys to young adult boys. Actually, the comics has actually grown up. Oy vey. Frugal and Breen. Nope, I don't have the answers. This Captain Frugal. It gets super weird from here, and this is when his brain fizzled. All right, here we go. I'm actually getting tired, so I was like, am I going to last? But here we go. Let's see the weird.
You think they're trying to make videos for teenagers? Like, I don't even like these people, and you're making me defend terrible people. Come on now.
Do you think they don't? Who do you think their primary audience is? Who do you think their key demographic is?
Grown-ass men in their 30s that grew up on Marvel Comics.
Well, I mean, they have that too.
That's their primary audience. Where the hell? I've never seen them cover teenage topics.
Oh, well, no, their primary topic would be teenage men, like the
teenage men.
Lots of teenage men are into comic book stuff.
Are you talking about Arrested Development? You Marvel Comics t-shirt wearing mother? Seriously?
Lots of teenage men are into comic book stuff.
He's talking about Arrested Development. He's talking about the man-child.
If you look at the breakdown of demographics that come out after every single Marvel movie, it's usually 35 to 44 male, about 50 to 56%. That is not teenage. Like, that was way out of left field.
When do they, like, you're talking about when do they get
he's fine. He's trying to find a way around you.
Yeah, they always survey people. Grace Randolph almost exclusively always has the demographic breaks down. I think it's either on Movie Math or her live streams.
If you're one of her fans, I
so are you saying they aren't going after a teenage male audience then?
That is so okay. Hold on just a second. I mean, are you going after it? No. If you're on YouTube, most of the audience is younger, sure. But if you're on YouTube, you're putting out your content, and who it attracts, it attracts. Are you going after somebody? If you are doing kid videos like little Johnny plays with wooden blocks, or they test out this toy, sure, fine. But this guy, what the honest F is he talking about? Are they going after? Look, I'll tell you what, I'm a 53-year-old man who occasionally has live streams, does an auction, and loves to talk about comic books, movies, politics, the whole 9 yards. I'm going after whomever will turn on the freaking video and tolerate me for a while.
I'm not saying that they are targeting. They are not targeting them specifically. If they were going like, hey, look at this new Demon Slayer episode, or look at this new One Piece. Sure, maybe. But in no way, shape, or form have I ever thought of them as going after teenagers.
I mean,
go figure.
When did you get into comic books?
Oh, dear Lord.
When I was 8, but teenagers aren't reading comics nowadays. We see that by the sales number. Unfortunately, they're reading manga.
4, I picked up my first book.
Okay. I mean,
he's searching.
I mean, it's definitely teenagers who will have an interest in that type of stuff.
Sure, there is a small amount, and it's a minority. You said they were targeting teenagers.
I mean, you don't think, I mean, Geeks and Gamers, you know, Geeks and Gamers actually has a channel dedicated just for like doing
weebs and waifus or something. Yeah, but it's not teenage oriented.
What?
No, they have a channel dedicated towards specifically children. It's like theme park ride reviews, and there's nothing political in that one, but it has leaked to the Geeks and Gamers website.
They have a kid channel.
I have a theme park channel. This guy is. He broke me. He fucking broke me. I swear to gosh. Okay, so I'm going to guess here that he has never heard of the Disney adult. That he has never freaking oh my gosh. He doesn't know that there's literally hundreds of grown-ass people going around, myself included, by the way, for a while anyway, reviewing the restaurants, telling you the new stuff, showing the rides. Oh my gosh, is this absolutely... It's not for kids, dumbass. Adults love... I love theme parks. My wife wants to move to Indiana. My first question is, do they have theme parks? Because I know they don't have Disney and Universal. Adults love that. Okay, I asked earlier, he's got to be either willfully ignorant, meaning he will not look up the truth, or he's actively stupid, meaning, once again, that's just another way of saying he's not going to try to find the facts, or he's lying. I think actively stupid. This guy is actively stupid. Oh my gosh. Don't assume my target kids just because I'm a puppet, says Comic Frog. Dear Lord. Indiana Beach, says Frankie. Thank you. Thank you. It's not Disney. It's not Universal. I'm a Florida born, by the way. Actually, I was born in El Paso and immediately came to Florida because I was way too sick for the winters there. So I couldn't tell you what El Paso, Texas looks like. So I actually just say I was born in Florida because it's so much easier. This guy has not heard of the Disney adult. He has not seen a Disney channel outside of this. Either that or he is absolutely lying right now.
Channel? What's it called?
Yeah. Let me see if I can dig it up.
Good Lord in heaven. And I think it's actually smart. Geeks and Gamers kind of, didn't they get a channel for everything now?
And you just literally said it's not political. So what's the issue? They're covering what topics?
Well, I just said they're okay. They have a channel called Park Hoppin'. This is a channel pretty much dedicated for like
park hopping
for kids. Essentially, it's a kids channel.
By the way, mine, I'm going to change the name back. Mine's called Disney Quest right now, but I'm going to change it back to Homegrown Tourist.
There's actually nothing objectionable in this channel, but it's got leaks.
So what's the issue?
Yeah, there shouldn't be an issue.
It's got links to Geeks and Gamers all over the place.
So what? Let's bring those words back. So what?
Okay, so they can't link back to their main channel? This is definitely not targeted to... Hold on. I'll share my screen. How is this, in what way, shape, or form is this targeted to kids? This is them having fun at...
That's it. You're having fun at the theme park.
The parks,
just have fun at the theme park. I've done this myself.
You don't think that...
So many times. Me and Gail used to go to a theme park restaurant every week.
That would be more for their fans already. This is literally just their brand all over. You're anti-Florida. Like...
holy crap. This guy's a dumbass. This guy is once again, I usually say argue the point, not the person, but I think the point is that organized chaos is a dumbass. So I feel okay saying that.
This is just their same shit all over again. And they're talking about discounts for prices. That would be more parents.
Oh no, you got
than
it
anything.
backwards. The kids pay for the tickets because they're only $130 each now.
It's a blog. Okay, so it's a blog.
I guess. Yeah.
How about say? I guess I was talking out of my ass. I didn't know what I was talking about.
It's targeting kids. Talk about all these cool theme park rides and stuff like that, and then one simple click, and all of a sudden you're on Geeks and Gamers.
So what?
Okay, well that's fine. It looks like it's a blog. It looks.
You know what, Tristan and everybody out there, I could see what happened. Okay, so they're on a live stream and they're the Geeks and Gamers, they're the most evil people on the face of the earth. Arrgh. And look at this, they got a theme park. So what? Well, you could click from the theme park channel on the Geeks and Gamers regular channel. Arrgh, they're evil. And then when they bring it out to everybody, people are like, the fuck you talking about? There's nothing wrong with that.
It's like it's just part of their brand. I don't know how that is targeted towards children. I would say it is exactly most of what we've seen come out of that channel is not for children. Nor should it be age gated either.
No.
You can't, you got to let the parents parent, right?
Yep.
Well, true. But I mean, if you want to argue that these guys aren't targeting children, then maybe they should age gate it.
No, but they're not, you dumbass.
So then your stuff should be age gated too, right?
Yes.
Because you're covering them.
I mean, that's
oh
their
my
argument.
gosh,
That's
dude. That was so good. Since you're covering them and they're showing this, you should be age gated also.
Argument.
Remember,
That was literally your argument.
No, I'm not. I wasn't stating my argument. I was stating. So, like, you're saying that.
Quirks is saying every time he gets caught, he says, "What you don't think?" As if he's saying what he's saying is common sense. My baby, by the way, is starting to yell to get out of his room.
We aren't targeting kids with this stuff, and my argument is, well, if they aren't targeting kids, why don't they age gate it? If that's something they don't want to do, then why don't they age gate it?
It doesn't target kids, you
Why
moron.
should they have to age gate? I don't age gate my content, and I cuss like a fucking sailor.
No, I'm not saying it's.
He has no content except pointing at someone else.
I'm not sure if this is going to go anywhere, and
I'm not sure you're. I think you've talked yourself into a corner here.
Shane is asking how much was the Star Wars hotel. It was $3,000 a night per person. But that price has fallen so freaking fast. They realize that a lot of people are going to see it as a one-time only kind of thing.
I think it's weird that you don't think that's targeted to children, but okay. But again, yeah, I don't think we're going to get anywhere, but like, it's unfortunate because I feel like there's a lot of issues we agree on. He keeps
trying to bring it back. He keeps
for sure.
Maybe over time you'll be a bit more.
Okay, if I were him and I wanted to derail the conversation and try to get back, okay. First of all, I would never be in this position anyway. Tristan, you're a good debater. I like the fact that I think Man of Action said you've improved. I agree. I don't think you could do this with me. But right now, if I were him, I would look at your channel, because every time he's saying, well, I think there's stuff we agree. What he's trying to do is change the subject. Okay, you're beating me like a redheaded stepchild, as Man of Action is saying here. Let's change the subject. So if I were him, what I'd be doing is looking at your channel, find something we agree, and then bring that up and ask you about it. Getting off of this murder machine that you have him on
board with the Phantom Initiative, with future projects, because like I said, this stuff takes time. I work full time. I am struggling to get stuff out. It is, but yes. I mean, I did appreciate talking to you. I just wish we could come to a bit more of an agreement. But like I said, I think as time goes on, you might see a bit more of what we're angling towards, maybe even agree a bit more. But yeah, I just think it's unfortunate we have really any noteworthy disagreement at this point.
I think it's unfortunate that my biggest issue, my biggest issue. And I think you guys also not so much you, definitely Dane acts like a moral superiority, and I have a real big issue with that. I want everybody to feel welcome, whether you're trans, white, cis. I don't fucking care if you're an alien.
I hate that term, cis.
But
I want everyone to feel welcome, except if they're going to be spreading bigotry.
Would you? So what's your answer? Just block them and move along. Wouldn't you rather?
I'll be right back. Okay. And he's flying out. There you go. All righty.
Have a conversation.
Twiddles wanted out of his cage.
Conversation with somebody, sort of give them your opinion, maybe educate them a little.
I don't object to having conversations, but 99% of the time when I have them, they go nowhere.
Huh.
Wait, what'd you say?
99% of the time when I talk to these guys, it goes nowhere.
Meaning he gets his ass whipped.
I've had the exact opposite experience. I have a lot of really good people that understand my opinion, but also I have people that don't even agree that marriage between a man and a man should be legal. But we've come to agreements. Yes, it doesn't mean they're fucking.
When the law was passed to allow gay marriage, I was talking to a friend of mine on Facebook who was celebrating. He and his partner were finally able to get married. And I said, this is, look, right destination, wrong road to travel. And they said, oh, we'll take it. Now, my thinking was, of course, that the way it was done is easily undone, which we saw earlier, or last year, I believe it was, that people started bringing it up. Now, I had talked about I don't believe anyone should be forced to be marry anybody. I don't believe that any church should ever be forced to marry any gay person. But I also believe that no state should ever be able to refuse them. And this got me into a lot of trouble. Now, we could have this discussion. And should I have come out and said, yeah, I don't know how I feel about gay marriage. Instantly, you're called a homophobe. But when you bring up the idea that, once again, I think more of marriage being in the church and civil unions being in the courtroom, where, yes, you're legally married. But if you don't listen to the whole story and you just jump on this bandwagon like a guy, Bob here would seem to do, you would never know the full story. But if you actually have the conversation that Tristan is talking about, you can hear the context with which the answer comes. All right, let's go.
Fucking evil. It means they don't understand different things. It's where you learn.
I mean, it sounds to me like they're being very ignorant, if nothing else.
Right, and what is ignorance? It's a lack of knowledge, right? It's a lack of understanding.
Yes.
So if you're just going to push them away, they're never going to understand.
Yes.
Okay.
You're simply fueling the fire.
So you need to understand there's going to be a difference, though. Like, if they just believe that, but they keep it to themselves and they don't shit on people for marrying who they love, then okay. Cool.
Oh, their opinions are fine so long as they never voice
out there like saying bigoted or homophobic shit to people, then you're not welcome in my community.
But once again, what do you count as homophobic?
I think you need to look with it, not yourself, but you've had some, like, I would say calling a black man an Uncle Tom is super bigoted. I know you don't agree with it, but it's not something I would ever feel comfortable saying.
I mean, you are aware there's a movie titled Uncle Tom.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if it's so bad, why would
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop right there. I was going to let this play out and then talk about the Uncle Tom thing. You do realize there's an Uncle Tom movie, and it was made by the blacks. The blacks made the Uncle Tom movie. Okay, dumbass. The whole point of that freaking film, if you would condescended to watch it, you ignorant asshole, it is a bunch of conservative black people talking about how they are called Uncle Tom and House N and all of the words because they got off the plantation. They don't buy into the leftist Democrat bullcrap anymore. They see how is it that you're going to believe Democrats when they say, vote for me, and we'll make it better. And then they tell you in the next election, everything's worse, vote for me. And yet, some people have woken up to that fact that it's been going on since this freaking civil rights movement. The only thing the Democrats have done for black people is pointed out that Republicans are racist. Go figure. All righty. So, yeah, this guy, the movie was a bunch of black guys and black women talking about how they are treated horribly because they hold conservative views. Go figure. Okay, let me continue.
Movie named after that. Wow.
So you're defending it?
He is. He's defending the use of the term.
Okay.
Not inaccurate. No.
Okay,
holy shit.
Dumb,
okay.
You
just defended
so stupid. So stupid. Now you said calling a black guy an Uncle Tom is racist. Yes, I agree.
Do you know what that term means?
Of course I do.
Okay. Hold on. This is going to be good.
Of course I do. And I would never insinuate that someone's opinions are invalid.
Okay, let's see what he thinks Uncle Tom means.
Okay. Like if someone's actually saying bigoted stuff,
that is bigoted, and you just defended it.
Yeah, it is absolutely bigoted.
How is that
it's
bigoted?
Racist.
Really? Oh my God. Okay. Like, this is the same thing. Do you understand what you're saying right now?
Like, yeah, you need to explain how that's bigoted.
To call somebody an Uncle Tom? Because you're saying you are subservient. You are obedient to the white person.
Welcome as long as they agree. Yeah.
That's not bigoted at all.
That's not quite what that.
No, that is what
exactly
it means.
What that means.
Jinx, you owe me a
That is exactly what that means.
I feel like you're redefining it.
Nope, she's defining it the way it's defined.
Uncle Tom is primarily a person. Well, I mean, specifically, it would be a black person who speaks against a
black. Okay, here's the literal definition: a black man considered to be excessively obedient and servile to a white person, and you just defended it.
Okay, now let me explain why you're both wrong. Once again, I did a reading because I wanted this out there. Uncle Tom. In the original book, what happened? Harriet Beecham Stowe, I believe that was the writer. She didn't experience slavery. Now, she's white. I'm not saying like she wasn't a slave, but her family didn't own slaves. They didn't know about, they knew about it, but they didn't. She never had that experience. She goes down south and she watches what's going on as they're visiting. I forget who they're visiting, might be family. And she sees the struggle that the slaves are having, but she noticed that there was a man, and I'm not saying his name was Tom, but she noticed there was a man who was just holding this quiet dignity about him, that you could tell there was strength within him as he was being ordered around, as he was being treated like a slave. And so when she gets home, she begins to write this book about a slave who still held on to who he was, who held on to his inner strength, to the point where I've seen two ways. One was he was killed because he was fighting for his family, but the way I saw it, the way I read it was in the comic, by the way, also, it is that the master wanted Uncle Tom to renounce God. God is not going to be the arbiter of Uncle Tom's fate. The master is. So he says, you must renounce God. Uncle Tom refuses. He gets beat. And then he says, you must renounce God. Uncle Tom refuses. He's beaten even harder, to the point where the master beats him to death. The point of the book is that this man, the black man, the slave, is strong enough. They have the will. They have the intelligence. Uncle Tom was a hero for standing up for his morals, for standing up for what he believes in, for not giving in to the master, for understanding that God above all. He was a hero. Now, the problem with that is that if you own slaves, you don't want them reading that shit. You don't want them getting any ideas that they actually have willpower and they could do what they want, and they could actually stand up to the master until he dies. You don't want that. So what you do is you flood the freaking market with knockoff Uncle Tom books where he's a minstrel, where he is an entertainer, where he's a black-faced monkey, dancing monkey. That's what the racists turned Uncle Tom into. So I don't give a fuck if you're black or white, whatever. If you call somebody an Uncle Tom, you are following the racists. I have never liked that term. Ever since I read the book, never liked that term. And I thought a black person calling another black person Uncle Tom is the tip top of all ignorance as far as racism is concerned. Because what you're doing is, instead of seeing that strong hero from the first book, you're seeing what the racists put out there, so you would not see a strong character. That is the truth of Uncle Tom. By the way, Bob, you're a racist.
I mean, again, like, do you defend a lot of the terrible things Eric July says?
No, of course not.
Okay.
But I don't defend when you guys say terrible things too. Have you ever seen me defend a terrible thing that Eric July said?
No, but I mean, I feel like you are right now. You're defending him. I mean, you're talking about a guy who works for the Blaze, essentially.
So what? The Blaze believes in the Constitution. The Blaze believes in freedom of speech for all, the right to protect yourself for all. There's no color. There's no color written into the Bill of Rights.
He does whatever Glenn Blake tells him to do, or whoever's in charge of the Blaze right now.
Is that how it works? Because I believe how it works is they could do and make their own content.
That's his job.
You are only responsible for you, and you just defended calling someone an Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's got to be some agency in that.
Okay. I mean, I'll own it.
Oh, and by the way, God bless you. Dude, come down south, please. DM me and let me watch you call a black person down here Uncle Tom to their face. Let me know before you do it so I could have that freaking phone on. I've never freaking recorded a murder before. Because they will freaking kill you.
It's odd. It's odd. Especially when you say you're the one, that they're the one that say anything bad about when a black person's on the screen. But when a real black person tells his opinions, and I think his opinions are cringe as hell.
I mean, do you really
call him an
think
Uncle Tom?
Do you really think that's all his opinions? Because I don't think they are.
Oh my gosh! Oh Lord in heaven!
Whose opinions are they? You think that they're grifts? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty sure he gets a lot of his opinions from the Blaze.
Oh, dude, this guy is so fucking racist. This is. Oh, Eric July doesn't have a mind of it. Well, okay, Eric July doesn't have a mind of his own. He's told what to say. He is flat out calling Eric July not Uncle Tom. He's calling him House N. Flat out. This comes a lot from the left, by the way. A lot of leftists do this. If you are black and you're conservative, people are paying you. The people have brainwashed you. You couldn't possibly think that the Democrats are wrong. And this guy, this racist mother right here, is flat out saying Eric July does not have a brain of his own. The Blaze is telling him what to say.
That's part of it.
So you think it's a top-down thing?
A lot of it, yeah.
Sorry, I'm not getting cut.
Didn't you guys also go through that article from Rewriting Ripley that went and connected YouTubers to like Steve Bannon and shit?
That's so bullcrap.
It was in your mission statement video. Yeah. Couldn't I do the same to you guys? Like, okay, well, you know, Dane had on Amazing Atheist, who I like a lot, but that means he's connected to this person because they follow them on Twitter, and that means they're connected to Nancy Pelosi. Like, do you realize?
I learned that first video.
What a terrible article that was.
I would never ever defend everything Amazing Atheist has done. That being said,
yeah.
I mean, when we're talking about those connections,
okay, he won't defend everything that Amazing Atheist has done because he can notice that there is good content, there is bad content, but he is unable to do that when it comes to Gary, to Ripa, to anyone along those lines. He's not able to say, well, they do this and that's good, but they do this and that's bad. So I'm not going to put them all in one basket and call them all shitheads. No, he does that for the Fandom Menace.
It's not as fragile as, oh, he was a guest on the show once.
But you literally did that with like the Fandom Menace when they had guests on. Like, I don't remember the crazy guy's name.
You mean Gavin McGinnis?
Maybe.
Okay.
I think it was like Alex something. Alex.
Alex Jones?
Yeah, he was a guest on there.
So, like, we can't really compare someone like the Amazing Atheist, who I will say has said things that I disagree with.
Oh, no, I like the Amazing Atheist.
Yeah, I would actually say
you don't have to defend him. I think he's done a lot of good work lately.
That being said, you're equating that to someone like Alex Jones.
No.
Right there, you should have said yes. I'm sorry, but yes. Alex Jones has his opinions. Amazing Atheist has his opinions. Some are right, some are wrong. And if you really look at some of the crazy shit that Alex Jones has said, the fact that it's coming true these days.
No, I'm not. I'm saying, you're saying I can't connect them because he's only been on there once.
Okay, but you need to understand, they know who these people are. Like, do you think they have on Alex Jones and Gavin McGinnis and don't know who they are?
What? Of course. How else would they make a connection? Just
okay, so they bring them on.
This guy is using the problem with comics today is this guy. Let me explain. There's a saying you talk about, oh, I don't want your politics in my comics. And they take that to mean you don't want politics in the comics. Politics have always been in the comics. One, that's not what was said. And two, yeah, no shit. So why are we complaining about it now? Politics, leftist politics, by the way, have always been in comic books, all the way back to the Adventures of Old Buck. And at the turn of the century and in the early part of last century, I should say, not this century, you had Richard F. Outcolt do a thing called Hogan's Alley. And that was all about politics. They're like, oh, okay, well, you know, you just don't understand. You just don't. Politics have always been there, but it's never been where they point to you and go, because you're conservative, you're bad. Therefore, it would be like all encompassing. Racism is bad. Okay, we can get behind that. Bullying is bad. All right, sure, that's fine. Apartheid is bad. All right, cool. But what they do now is, you're on the right, therefore you're bad. And that's what he's doing right here. Gavin McInnes, do you know he's like right wing,
knowing who they are, and they're fine with it. I mean, don't you think that's a bit of an issue? And it's not like they're hitting them on the stuff. They didn't hit Gavin McInnes on Proud Boys. They didn't hit Alex Jones on the fact that he lied about parents who lost their children.
Of course not. Of course not. Of course they're not going to. You know those type of people. But
they will still have them on.
To say that I bet that it's different.
Winning the argument.
Connecting. It's the same thing. Just because you have on a person.
You're equating amazing atheists to these guys?
Yes.
Oh my God. Here, see, absolutely. This is exactly what you did earlier. Exactly what you did earlier.
But you don't understand that's what you're doing.
No, it's absolutely not. You're putting intentions that I never said.
That's literally what you're saying.
I brought up the rewriting Ripley article that was terribly done, that you guys use as evidence, just like you use the weird pedo guy in Social Blade as evidence for your narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I could connect Dane.
This is staying
because he had on Amazing Atheist, and then you can keep going up because you said it was top down. You said Eric July didn't have his own opinions; he was getting them from the Blaze.
Well, I do know some of his opinions changed.
Isn't that the rule of the left?
It's noteworthy.
We can assume.
I'm not saying that's what happened.
I haven't heard this, but it's got to be the logical conclusion that if Democrats like this guy, leftists like this guy, who think that any conservative black person having an opinion he doesn't like is obviously fed that way, or they're paid to do that, brainwashed by the man. But wouldn't it stand to reason then that that's kind of what happens on the left as well? If you think that black people are so easily malleable as far as their thoughts and opinions that I could go up to some guy who's been voting Democrat for the last 40 years and say, vote Republican. Okay, sure. This guy's racist as fudge.
But we can't know for sure.
No, I know, but I'm saying that's noteworthy.
It is noteworthy, sure.
I would say,
but we cannot put intentions on, and you've done that to me twice now.
I just say they
tried to put intentions that weren't there to frame me.
But that's. I mean, you need to understand that's what you were saying.
No, it absolutely was not. It absolutely was not.
I mean, your argument was that they have on Gavin McInnes and Alex Jones, but that's the same as Dane having on Amazing Atheist.
Yes.
I said the connection. I never said it was the same. Never once.
Yes, it is, because when you
look at this stuff,
having somebody on with an opinion,
who exactly they're letting on and why.
Sure. Sure.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory at this point.
Sure, it is. But you said that he gets his opinions from somebody else without any evidence.
Listen, again, I'm not saying that's definitely what happens. I'm just saying it's.
You didn't put a modifier in there. You didn't say.
So you think that's why it's okay to call him an Uncle Tom?
I love how you guys are you guys. I don't want to clump you with these guys. I don't think this is going. I don't want you to be an enemy. I don't. And I think we agree on more than we disagree.
How
we do, you can't allow racism.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm going to call bullshit on that now. How could you possibly stay 1 hour and 56 minutes, 48 seconds into this debate, not even a debate, and think that the two of you have anything in common beyond the fact that maybe you're both going to vote for Biden for some reason this coming election. There is nothing in the last 2 hours that says that you guys have more in common than not. As a matter of fact, I mean, just look, just because there's a D beside your name when it comes to the voting booth, that is it. That is it. And once again, yeah, Shane's going, wait, an enemy? What does that mean exactly?
Just because you don't like the person.
Racism.
If you're against racism, you got to be against it for everybody. Black, white, alien, I don't care.
Though. That's not it, though.
But that's exactly what that was. That was a racist pejorative.
No, the only people, like, that's the thing. I think, Tristan, I think you need to look at the people you listen to. That's why I'm seeing a lot. You're pulling lots of stuff from sources that are questionable at best.
But like your video.
Great. Well, I mean,
I'm giving you my opinion. I called you out on your sources and you said my sources are bad.
Well, I mean, you were calling that guy a pedophile who works for the Independent actively, I should add. And so, yeah, I think there need to be some solid evidence.
I can give it to you. That's not an issue.
Okay. It needs to be more than a shoe.
Tristan comes with the receipts and he's going, I don't like the paper it's printed on.
Yeah, I feel like you're listening to a lot of the wrong sources, and I think a lot of our
I should be listening to what you're listening to.
Yes,
I mean
that's what he's saying.
I'll tell you right now, the most reliable sources for stuff in general, like if you're not sure, for general news, you're looking at Reuters and AP. For Hollywood entertainment news, you're probably looking at like Deadline, Variety.
Like you literally in one of your videos called the Direct a chud outlet.
Oh yeah, the Direct.
Here are the sources.
You can't be serious.
Here's the sources you need to be going to for me to take you seriously.
Oh my.
Yeah, they've misrepresented lots of stuff.
No, they just.
You mean they've clickbaited stuff?
Good Lord.
Like you can't really think there. When I think of a terrible news source, I think of Bounding Into Comics. But you literally called the Direct a chud source, and you're telling me my sources are bad when I've caught you in many terrible sources.
What I'm not sure what terrible sources you caught me in, but
doesn't matter what you say. He's in a cult. Yeah,
you literally use Social Blade.
Says my sources say. That one's a good.
So
one.
what other sources? Because I haven't actually used any. I've given you my opinion. What of my sources are bad?
Move on from this part because.
So what sources?
Deal with the sources.
Everyone sees the podcast. They see the main channel. And that's the thing. His podcast had like 150 subscribers, like in maybe 100 views, not even 100 views. And it's not that point.
That's actually, by the way, my channel nowadays.
You're pretending to be this fan advocacy. It's the fandom initiative, the initiative for fans.
Please subscribe, watch the videos.
You're not
if
even
you disagree.
It's weird.
I've got
fucking weird.
Open mic on Monday.
Thank you, Robert. I love comics, aka Ingleton makes zero money. He's usually on the verge of dropping his comic auction on his channels because of low views. Yes. When I see that, I'm not kidding. I was going through that video. I legitimately laughed out loud because it's Ingleton, right? Me and Ingleton are like, we're cool. Yes. We get along very, very well. He's
so far, yes.
Conservative. I am not I'm not conservative. And he's a cool guy. He loves comic books.
Okay, this is the
and that's what makes him awesome.
I am
because he also does this really great thing. And you know what that is? Have a conversation, agree to disagree, tell each other our opinions and move on and be friends at the end of the day. Angelo,
all right.
Here's $1 million according.
So there you go. All right. There you go, kids. What's going on here? There we are. All righty. How long have we been out? That 3 hours on a 2 hour and 25 minute video. I guess that's not bad. That's not bad. especially stopping it all the time. That's, by the way, I saw the comment by VENKMAN, stop talking over it. Just for quick quips, the reason why I didn't is because if I stopped it every time, this could have been a 4 or 5 hour video. Didn't want that. What do we got going on here? By the way, I do agree also. I let it pass the first time, but Into Skies was saying that his argument points were like Hitler drank water, you drink water, you're a Nazi. You know, it's okay. Yeah. Man of Action Nerdette has more patience than I do. She killed him, then she tries to help him up, then she stops her hand. Yeah. Okay, so normally, like I watch the EVS Nerdette debate, and it's kind of funny because I am friends with Tristan, but I agree more with EVS as far as the woke stuff and so forth. So when I was watching that, the first time I actually did a long video like this, but it was pre-recorded. And the reason why I did this was live is because I lost it. So I was like, God damn it. And I was just tired and I didn't want to go over the stuff again. But I was arguing with Nerdette. First thing I argued with her was she shouldn't have let Ethan pray on her channel and call out the suit. He was dressed like he was going to Vegas, but the prayer thing was a power move. So mute him, and you know, there were things in this particular beatdown that I would have done a little bit different. He kept bringing up, well, they say bigoted things. Like what? Seriously, like what? I want to hear that. Because he would say, like they said bigoted things. And even if they went back to the video, because he brought up Geeks and Gamers, he brought up Nerdrotic and so forth. But if you go to the video, they're not the ones that are using the N-word and being bigoted and so forth and so on. I would have called him out on that kind of stuff. Otherwise, Nerdette kicked all sorts of ass on this one. I was actually watching going, what the hell am I going to say? Thankfully, there was more to it that I could bring it in. This guy is, I don't know, he's walking Twitter, in all honesty. He's leftist walking Twitter. And yes, I am one of those people who see that there are true liberals. There's a few left in the world, and the leftists are different. But a lot of the stuff he was saying is just regurgitated, and he is bigoted because he automatically dismisses all people who are on the right or who might say watch Steven Crowder or Alex Jones as being bad because they do those things, not because there's actually some sort of action that they have done that is bad. It's just, oh, well, if you listen to Gavin, then you're racist. Hit the like button, says Captain Frugal. That is a good idea. And once again, if you are not yet subscribed, please do so. I want to see my channel get back to 18. I've never hit 20. I've never made it past 18. I got shadow banned and it started going down. Right now I'm at 17.8. I would love to hit that 20,000. Somebody, Jimmy Quirks, I saw on the thing, says he's pissed because this guy's got 27,000. My channel was shadow banned before I made it. I would love to. So please, if you like the content, even if I seem abrasive or maybe I'm a little bit too conservative for you, subscribe. And when I say something you don't agree with, disagree with me. Let's make it a conversation. It'll be a conversation. I'm very respectful to Nerdette when I'm over on her channel, and I would be respectful for anybody who comes on that disagrees. Let's see. I can finally hear you. Let's see. I trump your reasons and facts with my feelings, says In a Disguise. They did stuff. No examples. Yeah, I would have liked that as well. Nerdette calling, not just she would bring something up and he would say, well, they always do this. How? I mean, you said they always do it. Give one example. Now, granted, it is kind of rough when you're doing what should be a debate and it turns into an interview. It is kind of rough because it's like It's like that conversation you had where you're with your wife or your significant other, whomever is important to you, and you say, well, what was the name of that movie? You know, the one with the person and the thing that happened that time? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? And then the person you're with goes, yeah, I know, the one with the guy, they did and then they went there to that place, and yeah, that thing. And you can't remember what it is, and then at night you go, it was the Goonies, you know, and I can understand that when you're in a debate like this, your mind can work like that, but still call them out. Where's your receipts? If you're going to call somebody a bigot, you better have receipts. Robert Willing says she's streaming right now for your information. If she would welcome me on, I'll hop on over there. If she wants to talk about anything. Nerdette bodied Bob, but she could have done better. Bob was just so bad at debating. Hey, Ahsoka, what's up? Just woke up. I have been battling insomnia. I actually fell asleep for 2 hours tonight. But yesterday I was on for an hour, awake for a couple hours. I fell asleep. So I probably got about 7 hours worth of sleep yesterday during the daytime. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to. This is why I've got these going on. I haven't exactly been able to piece together enough sleep to do it. Even when I was crashed out tired the other night, I only sleep for an hour or so. I don't know what's going on. Usually it's caused by stress, but in all honesty, I have not been stressed I don't know what's going on. Saying insomnia is 6 hours. Yeah. No. It wasn't 6 hours in a row. It was, I slept for an hour. I wake up for a couple. I slept for an hour. I wake up for a couple. Yeah. Let's see. This reminds me of that BBC reporter talking to Elon Musk. Yeah. Or the one that talked to Trump, every time he made a point, she would change the subject. Yeah. No, she's interviewing a D-Trans. Oh, okay. No worries. We'll do it another time. Anyway, I wouldn't mind jumping on again, talking about whatever. It's been a while. Usually I'm not awake at this hour. We're night owls anyway, me and Gail. Last night I showed her the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. We watched the last movie and then crashed. Old people sleep patterns, says Tolfer. Yeah, a little bit, isn't it? Isn't the way, huh? Anywho, there you go. It was a lot of fun. I gotta say, it was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody who lasted the entire 3 hours. If you did, I think I'm still going to cut this up and put it across the channel for, like a half-hour segment or something every day. I kind of felt good about that Uncle Tom segment. All of this is off the cuff. There's nothing scripted, but that came out very well, I think. So I would like that to be out there. It just bothers me every time I hear anybody talk about Uncle Tom and such like that. Have a good day, everyone, says Captain Frugal. Cap, you have a good one as well. If you guys like video games and stuff like that, and I think you've been doing you've been doing some musical stuff, go on over to Captain Frugal's channel. See if he's your cup of tea. Captain Frugal's one of the OG CG. And now he does stuff with his family, such as it's a good channel. Go see if it's your cup of tea. He's good people. That being said, comics, games, and music, he says. That being said, I do believe we'll be having a live stream tonight. Robert, if you could, tell Tristan she's more than welcome to come on. Tonight is a open mic night. And actually, I met somebody at the warehouse sale. She said she was looking for time away from the kids. I said, come on. And I'd have an open mic night on Mondays. If you have a good mic, come on in, talk about comics, and get away from the kids for an hour or so. Yeah. So join us tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. You can see the red eyes here. I'm going to lay down and see if I can't get another hour's sleep. That being said, thank you very much for the super chats. Thank you very much for listening in. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good day, kids.